What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 63. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, who doesn't have his camera on, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Who does have his camera on?
Yeah, Brett Murdoch.
Who doesn't know where his camera is?
Brian Manjoma, who also doesn't know where his camera is.
I signed into the wrong profile today, so sorry, you guys.
My bad. Chris, I don't know why he doesn't have his camera anymore.
just cause.
Yes, I know why, because there's some action happening behind him. And
and we're joined tonight by a man who has his camera on because he's a very dapper-looking fella, Mr. Charles Singletary.
What's up, everyone? Glad to be back on the Throwdown. It's been quite a while, but I'm glad.
Yes, it has, man. Always love having you on, man. All right, we got a big show tonight, but before we get started, I promise you guys a full review of the Xbox One, which I have. So I will
tell us a story.
Should I actually style like a story too on one Thursday morning? No, I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, I've had the Xbox One for a week now, so these are my thoughts. You already got a taste of it on Throwdown Your Questions. I don't like the UI. It's very confusing. I don't know where anything is. Like, I had to go ask people, like, how do I share? Like, there's no share button on the controller at all. So you have to go through this whole kind of workaround to do it, because originally it was just the connect. You just go, hey, connect, record that shit. They don't have that anymore. So you have to go through all these menus and stuff, and it's based on Windows 10, which I haven't touched Windows 10, but I'm guessing it's going to be just as confusing as this. So the UI, like, it's funny because apparently the older UI was even worse than this one. And I want to give a shout out to Paris Lilly from Gamertag Radio. He tweeted out, like, I love seeing Romudef bitching about the shit we've been bitching about for 2 years. Yeah, it's like, let's see, what else do I talk? Let's talk about the controller real quick. I like the weight of it, and it's very, like, heavy, and I like that. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole batteryness, but apparently I could just buy a charger thing for it, so that's not really an issue. The D-pad is better than the original 360 one, but it's in a weird spot because obviously you're not using the D-pad to move around. You're using the analog stick. The analog sticks themselves are pretty good. I kind of like them better than the PlayStation. PlayStation fans.
Oh, man, those are fighting words.
And I'm getting used to the face buttons because every time they tell me to press X, I press A because that's where X would be on Sony. But what I'm doing is I'm just focusing on the colors instead of, like, when it tells me a prompt, I just focus on the color, even though X on Sony is also blue.
Think of it this way. You could just think of the Sony one as cross. Oh!
Yeah. Triggers are cool, but they're not any different than the PS4 one, to be honest. Like, I know the 360 had better triggers than the PS3, obviously, but this one, they're about the same and stuff. So far, I've been playing a lot of Tomb Raider. The game is really cool. I've been doing... Actually, the funny thing is I've been doing more TV watching on my Xbox than anything else, which is hilarious.
I hear it's good for TV.
It is. I actually watched the Game Awards on the Xbox, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, and it comes with a big gas power brick, but I actually put it in a good spot so it's not really in the way in or anything. So that's cool. And I know there's some other features like Snap and whatever, like you could attach certain things to, like, the main menu. I haven't figured out any of that shit yet, but yeah, Xbox, man, I give it a thumbs up. I'm happy I bought it. And I'm getting achievements, people. You know what time it is. It's the same shit. It's like trophies, Get them. Even though I like trophies better because I have a platinum. No platinum here, so you're not really working towards a gold. You just kind of just get shit. But it's cool, and I like it. So there you go, people. I'm now an Xbot, I guess.
You are now fair and balanced.
Yeah, but I know people are like, what about, yeah, I don't have the Nintendo, but Nintendo kind of doesn't want me to get their system, so that's all right. All right, clarification from last week's show, or last Throwdown, you were asked, how much do you think digital sales account for game sales or whatever? And we looked it up, and 52%, but that offset became in there, Apparently, EA put out something. They were talking about the Star Wars Battlefront. The main story was that Star Wars, they think Battlefront's going to sell 13 million, but underneath all that, they said that digital sales on consoles, which is what we wanted to know, accounts for early 20%. So maybe between 20 and 25%. So that's not a lot, but Brett, it goes back to what you said, that Steam heavily offset that number. 20, 25%. I guess that's correct. I figured it would have been more like 1/3, but I guess that's close enough, you know. So that is that. Actually, before anything, Charles, man, what have you been up to lately, bro? Tell the people.
I have been playing a lot of Elite Dangerous now. I've caught up on a few things. So as far as my backlog goes with games, Divinity, I just did the review for that. That's on the Coalition. So right now I'm playing The Witcher 3, which I said when Witcher came out. Just looking at my schedule, I'm probably going to get it on Black Friday, which is exactly what I did. And I got it, and I'm playing it, and we're going to discuss its whole presence at the Game of the Year show, Game Award show, and everything. But I got to say, it is definitely deserving of all the praise that I've heard about it so far. But
would you say it is Game of the Year?
It is not my Game of the Year. It is definitely competing for the number 2 spot on mine. It would have been really difficult for it to take my number 1 game out, honestly. But I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But other than that, I've been doing a lot of comic book reading and discussing on panel to panel, man. Like we had an incredible discussion yesterday. It was awesome. I want that Robin War. Oh man. Oh, I want that so bad. I'm
sorry. I'm totally being a shill there.
This trolling. Total dick move, but that's all right though. I'm looking forward to it. Robin, We Are Robin has been a great read so far, and I appreciate your contributions to it, sir.
Thank you. I think we only did 2 backup stories for that, the lead ups to Robin War.
Gotcha. Cool. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and I'm wearing my Carolina Panthers visor because we're undefeated. That's a thing that's been going on too. So
awesome. Yeah, the real main reason I asked you that is because I wanted you to plug panel to panel.
I figured as much. Appreciate it.
Love that show, man. And I'm sorry I haven't been on because my whole life's just been crazy with video games and personal shit that you guys know about. I haven't been and that just you picked a great topic this week. Fucking Divinity versus the the irredeemable dude. I'm like,
the Plutonian.
Yeah. Ooh, man. By the way, is Irredeemable still going? Because I read like the first couple of trade paperbacks, and I thought it was fucking fantastic.
I'm not sure if it's still going. It may be. I got to look into it. I was actually really behind on reading that. I definitely got to read Divinity, but the stuff that they told me that happens in the Irredeemable comics, it's some incredible stuff, dude. I can't wait to pick it up. It's very dark. It was really messed up at times.
I love those stories that take the basic Superman prototype. It's like, hey, what if this guy got pissed? And he wasn't nice. You know? Awesome shit. All right, so let's jump into it. So tonight we all saw the Game Awards, the second annual Game Awards, not the Video Game Awards, the Game Awards.
Oh, yes.
Were you going to say what?
Don't worry about it.
Yo, man, you thought I was going to fuck up the title. All right, so, yeah. Who wants to start this off? Okay, I'll say this. It was better than last year's, but it was still a glorified commercial. It's like all these commercials all the time, man.
I think the biggest problem with the Video Game Awards is the fact that it's totally funded by the companies that make it. So in other words, it's essentially the big commercials. It's like, and I can't imagine going to one of those awards and literally, I mean, they only presented maybe like 4 or 5 awards, right? Right?
Yeah, something like that. It was less than 10 for sure.
It was less than 10 the awards, right? And then most of the time, literally, it was just a commercial. Literally, there's one part where Shaquille O'Neal comes out. He's like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Shaquille O'Neal here. Guess what? Shaq Fu's coming out.
Shaq Fu, baby.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm on TBS."
You asked for a remake of that, by the way, like the worst fighting game probably in existence. Was Shaq Fu? Like,
hey, to be fair, the new game is a brawler, which I think is good because they shouldn't have made another fighting game. We don't need another Shaq Fu fighting game. A brawler, that's fine. That's cool, you know. But yeah, Shaq Fu, the game. Who was seriously asking for that?
Yeah. Well, I had a couple besides the commercials, and there were weird ones at that. But I think they need to close the bar like a little bit before the award presenters come out, because I swear that everyone probably up there was drunk besides the guys getting the awards. Like that girl messing up the best voice acting.
I don't think that was
Yeah.
her. I don't think that was her issue. I think it was what was on the
I
card.
think it was written inside of the card that way.
It was
Yeah.
what was written
She
on the
even
bottle
realized
of
it was
Jack before she went on stage. That's what
No,
the problem was.
that wasn't. She realized it was an issue too. I don't think she was like drunk enough.
But she did totally mean to say David Hayter on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you saw
to
the
be
guy.
fair, like that
Go
was
ahead,
my
Brian.
thought.
Yeah.
Whenever who was it? When someone said, "Oh, the voice of Snake," I was like, "Oh yes, David Hayter." It's like, "Oh no, Kiefer Sutherland." It's like, "No, the voice of Snake will always be David Hayter." Sorry, like Kiefer's good, but David Hayter is Snake for me, and probably for most fans. So, hey, she just said what we were all thinking. To be
Yes.
fair.
I think also, would have been actually really fun if they took both. This would have been a really awesome moment if you took David Hayter and put Kiefer Sutherland presenting some award. Didn't matter what. Just have them there.
Yeah, like the awkward award.
Just the awkward award.
The awkward.
Yeah. I don't know. Both him and Mark Hamill seemed like they were drunk too. Like Mark Hamill broke out in that Joker voice. I'm like, yeah, that's not awkward, man.
I'm the
Just keep it
Joker. Well, people want to hear him do the Joker.
That's true. Yeah.
And he can't-
Speaking of,
That's the only thing he can't. I mean, at least he could talk about being in Batman now, where he was a big old secret in that game. Is he in the game? I don't know.
Let's talk about Let's talk.
Can you speak
about
up the
Oh, go ahead,
like
Brian.
real first?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
this is the thing that I said like pre-show. Like, did anyone else just get really annoyed by that Go 90 commercial thing? That kept
Yeah,
what was
that?
Yes,
That was their wonderful sponsor.
I was incredibly confused and annoyed at the same
Can I just say how dumb that is? I mean, like, you're on a video game awards show, and you're advertising this thing to do with TV and watching TV, like, on the go. It's like, why would I watch TV when I have video games? It's like, you're literally presenting awards for possibly the most different form of entertainment there is on this planet. And you'd rather say, hey, remember how good old entertainment was? When you just sit there and watch stuff?
Don't you want to listen to the Green Acres theme over and over again? Remix.
Or would you rather just play a video game, which we are all here to celebrate? Like, it seemed just completely out of contrast and made no sense to me.
You mean how like they showed that Star Wars thing that had nothing to do with video games at all? It's like, what the fuck is this?
You know why?
What's going on?
Because it fits into the geeky category.
So call it the Geek Awards. Don't call it the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Was it just me, or like when that woman got that Kylo Ren thing? Did it just seem like
that was
a
so
really overreaction and fake?
That was
Because
so
trying
awkward.
to-
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing too. Just boom, I don't care, in like half-second flat. I'm like, wow. If you
Yeah.
really were emotional about it, then that emotion would carry over until like you're finally done. Not just I'm done now.
And then right there, a total commercial right there. They're like, here, and being that you say you like toys so much, have this Ghost Rider figure because Ghost Rider is going to be coming out next week.
That was terrible. You know, it's a good thing. Yeah, it was a good thing. Just Justine was there with those big titties to it saved the thing. But that was bad.
So then, is that I've just seen?
Yeah, that was I just seen. Yeah, that's her.
Okay, I don't know her face. All I know that is that she's annoying.
You don't need to. Don't listen to her. Just look at her. Just look at her.
So as far as the awards go, I think pretty much everybody that you thought was going to win was going to win.
Yeah, let's get to that a little later. I want to get into the reveals.
Oh, okay, the reveals.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just reading this off some website. So they revealed something called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Left a lasting impression because I don't even remember seeing that shit.
When was this?
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, I guess maybe they had the transcript.
Well, I saw the pre-show thing, and the only thing that I saw on there was the Tomb Raider DLC thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yaga Baba, whatever.
Baba Yaga. So did you like? I tweeted after I saw that because have you guys seen John Wick? I'm sure you've all seen. John Wick.
Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. Yes.
Anyway, I was like, I'm sure you're all excited about the Baba Yaga DLC, and I posted a picture of John Wick because that's what they call him in John Wick. Baba Yaga.
Yeah. They showed some of Uncharted. The thing that struck out to me, like, damn, like, Nolan North, like he is Nathan Drake now. Like Nathan Drake looks like Nolan North now. Like they just keep making him look like him more and more in each game. You know?
I mean he's gotten a little older looking, so like now he actually
now
looks
he's looking like Nolan North.
now he's just looking like Nolan North, and I thought the facial stuff in the new Uncharted game is really nice looking. It's almost it's getting close.
Yeah, but aside from that, it didn't really show much that was interesting from Uncharted. You know.
No, they just showed you a new character, who beats him up. That's good.
Yeah. Apparently.
To be fair, it's like PlayStation experience is like the next day. So Sony just probably said, okay, we'll give you like this much, but that's it. Because like we're saving this because it is Uncharted. It's like the PlayStation game right now. So it'd be kind of dumb if like the Video Game Awards just like took over it.
Yeah, that's true. Then of course they showed Shaq Fu, which no one saw coming. It's like, wait, Shaq Fu really? And Shaq, man, getting fat, man. What's going on?
He's eating good now.
Yeah, he's retired, man.
He's eating good. I like that.
He was massive compared to like the other guys.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Shaq here.
Hey man, I'm here to talk about Shaq Fu because y'all wanted that.
I'm breathing hard. Shaq.
Man, you made him sound fat, like he's out of breath.
That's your Biggie Smalls impression. Hey guys, what's going on? A Telltale's Batman game. I didn't think anybody saw that one coming. I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
I actually saw that coming because if you remember not long ago.
You got your crystal ball, man.
No. Telltale made an announcement that they'd be handling other DC properties.
Oh, really? Okay, so
yeah, it was a good. I mean, maybe it was toward the beginning of the year or something like that, and they were talking about it. So there you go. Who lends themselves better than the storytelling than Batman?
Yeah, there were like little think pieces about like what DC stuff they would cover way back.
Aren't they doing Marvel too?
Yep.
Wow, man.
So they're like, we could tell some stories.
And I mean, they do a good job. And in my opinion, so I'm down for them to do as many licenses as possible as long as they maintain some kind of quality, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm going to call it now. The Joker will be in it. Because it seems like these days you can't do a Batman anything without the Joker. Seriously.
Unless it's Batman versus Superman, but we'll talk about that later.
Or Dark Knight Rises.
That's true.
You watch. The Joker will be there somehow. I guarantee it.
You know who the Joker is. You know who the Joker is. That idiot playing Lex Luthor. Oh my God! You put some makeup on that guy, he's totally the Joker. Especially the way he's acting now. It's like, oh look, it's Bruce Wayne.
Oh look, it's Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne in the same building, and I brought them together. Ooh. But we'll get to that later.
That sounds like more the impression of Dr. Smith we were doing on Throwdown Your Question.
He was Dr. Smith, but again, I know we want to go off on this guy, but let's calm it down.
Bye, William.
Right. By the way, one of my highlights. Thank you, Ubisoft, for making a Beastmaster like video game, man. I am ready for this shit, boy. I know they're calling it Far Cry Primal. It's Beastmaster. You control beasts, man. You get to tell a bear what to do. Give me this game right now, man. Holy shit.
The question is, did this game just like take the wind under Wild's like wings, or
no? Because it's not.
I froze up.
Like telling the monsters, the animals what to do is not the same as possessing them and controlling them, and actually having the gameplay as like a bird or a bear or something like that. I don't think it's that similar.
Yeah, we don't really know how it works. All I know is I get to tell a bear what to do, and I'm happy about that. You know, I'm totally down with that.
Is this the year? Well, that's next year. I was going to say, is this the year of AI animals?
Yes. Another surprise, Psychonauts 2.
I am very surprised about that.
That's a big deal. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And of course they worked a little bit of plug for the new
Yes, they did. By the way, Unity got a lot of love tonight. You notice that?
A lot of Unity stuff.
Well, there was those Unity ads. I'm sorry, what was up with those two hipster couple with the VR game? That they're like, oh, we like to make original things. I'm like, really? Do you?
I went to take a piss during that. I don't know what that was.
So,
that was a Unity ad, though.
Yeah.
They were using VR.
So yeah, they're like, yeah, we took our guys around. No, it's just an ad for Unity. It's plain and simple. obviously. But
Got a question.
I wanted to say, oh, go ahead. I totally lost it.
Well, I gotta say,
so-
for Psychonauts 2, like,
Ah.
I don't know why, you know, I know a lot of people are excited. I'm like, I remember how Tim Schafer spent his money last time, so you better get his accounting in order.
Yeah, good point.
Well, here's
my question was going to be like, are we going to have the same crowdfunding backlash that Shenmue did, or no?
It's a good question.
Here's the thing, though, and this that's what I wanted to talk about. The service that he supposedly said that they're using now is it's another sort of crowdfunding service, but all the backers make a little bit of money off of the game that they've helped fund, which is interesting. They make some sort of
become a shareholder without being a shareholder.
Essentially, it should have just been called shareholders.
Yeah, that's basically it's like they offer the perks of being a shareholder without actually having shares.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually on the website. I'm on the website trying to figure out exactly how that works, and I'll tell you all in a second.
All right. Okay.
I don't think that it will get the same type of backlash, like simply because it was on, like, it wasn't part of a publisher's show per se. It was part of just like gaming in general. So it might get a pass simply because of that. Because I was one of the people that was, I know I like the Shenmue thing at the Sony conference, like simply because it's kind of like Sony's like one of the biggest publishers out there. You know, it's like, so you can go on stage and then announce this game and then say on Kickstarter. It's like, really? So what does Sony have to do with any of this then? Type thing.
Because they were funding part of it. They just weren't saying it overtly. So it's like because this is what they use. A lot of companies are using Kickstarter for now is to gauge interest in games. So essentially, the Kickstarter doesn't essentially fully pay for the game, but it gives you a good chunk. It gives you a good chunk to start with, and then once that happens, then the companies, then like people like Sony are like, okay, we'll put some money. You're good.
All right, moving on here. They showed more Quantum Break stuff. They had Iceman come on stage, talk about the game. You know, again, I don't remember Iceman being there for the original reveal of that game.
He wasn't. The original version of the original reveal of that game had a totally different cast. I think they recast and put some actual heavier actors in there. But yeah, that first one, it wasn't him.
Yeah, I mean the trailer cool, and the release date April 5th. So I will be picking that up because I have an Xbox now.
You could play, and you could play Alan Wake when it gets, you know, there's even on it.
I keep
got some clarification.
Go ahead, man.
All right. So investing to get that return and crowdfunding are apparently two separate things on this particular thing. So you can crowdfund like normal, like a Kickstarter or whatever. But you can also register to become a qualified investor and share in the success. And you're investing not directly into the game, but to quote, it says, by investing in Fig's co-publishing company, which holds a license to certain distribution rights to the title. That's a little shady, and it wasn't. I guess the words that they used on stage were not, you know, on the up and up in that.
What was the thing they said? Legitimate, registered, like person. What was it again?
Your qualified investors can share in the success.
Yeah. What does that mean exactly?
It doesn't tell me what that means. I signed up for the newsletter to see if it gave me any more information on it, but you have to invest in something separately, it seems, outside of the crowdfunding to get. And I'm sure there's like a dollar amount that you're going to have to start with, too.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like you're buying real stock, man. Shit.
Well, that's what an investor is, a real investor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to ask, like, is like a monetary like limit, like how much like you must invest, or like a starting off amount?
Like, I don't know. See, I'm trying to find that out because I see the crowdfunding stuff on that particular game, on the Psychonauts thing, and I tried to look through like the rewards thing to see if it was like if you invest at this point, you start to get like money back on the game after it sells. But like I just said, I looked at the About Me stuff, and it looks like the investment part is completely separate from the crowdfunding side of things. So I've got to I think what it is, you're not going to go into the Psychonauts 2 thing back that and be able to go invest specifically in that game. I think that they're just saying that you can invest in the Fig company because they're going to be publishing this stuff and get some kind of return. I think that's what it ultimately is.
Oh, so see, Tim Schafer messed up your message again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, does anyone care about Rock Band VR?
I think it's cool, but it shouldn't have been on stage.
Yeah.
I did like seeing Dragon Force.
I did like that.
That
I
was
appreciated that. That was pretty fun. Shadow Complex Remastered. They announced that yesterday. Go ahead, Brian.
I like the idea of what VR is being used for because that's cool, but at the same time, I don't think it's stage worthy as such. To be honest, it's just kind of And this is like another way for Activision to make. Is it Activision that does that one, or is it some other company?
No, it's Harmonix, I think.
Yes.
Either way, it's more reasons for that company to make more money. And come on, people. I mean, this thing went away for a reason, and now it's back. Like, how long before it goes away again? How long before it gets the Amazing Spider-Man 2 treatment?
Uh-oh. Who knows, man? All right, so yeah, they Shadow Complex for the PC, which is pretty cool.
And
and
PlayStation 4. You missed that.
There's no PlayStation 4 for that, dude.
Shadow Complex. They said for PlayStation 4.
They said PC, dude.
They said PS4.
They said PS4.
I missed that. Oh,
that's the big deal.
Really? When the hell was that updated? Like when I
it was like one of the last things he said.
Yeah, well, yes. When he said it on the stage, he said PS4 as well.
Oh, okay. Because I just looked
maybe your news blurb just said PC.
Yeah, well, that was yesterday. Okay, cool. Never mind, because I had plans of buying Shadow Complex right from the Xbox store because it's a 360 game and played on my Xbox One. Never mind, I will buy for the PS4 then. Never mind.
Or you can also get it for free PC. On PC.
I can't do that because my PC can't run it yet.
Yet. Did you say something? Did you reveal something?
Well, people know I'm going to get a new PC by the end of the year, man. Okay, so Rocket League coming to Xbox One. Charles, I know you like what I tweeted out. I said a bunch of Sony ponies going to be crying now, man.
No one is thinking of Rocket League in that regard. And a bunch of PlayStation fans probably didn't even realize that Xbox players didn't have the game at this point because, people on PC were playing it. And, I don't know. It's a big deal, but it's not that big a deal.
I'm going to say this. As much as people love the Rocket League, you know what? A lot of people did not pay for that thing.
Yeah, it was free. Exactly.
They gave that game away that was a free game, and everybody realized that the game was fun, and then that's when it started to hit.
Yeah, that's fine though. That's a big boost for them. That's what they hope happens.
It's definitely a smart move to do that. Where it's like, okay, we have this really fun game. Here, have it.
Do you want to know the worst part? Is that I'm pretty sure that the majority of people didn't even know that Rocket League is actually a sequel to another game.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yep, it is a sequel to a PS3 exclusive as well, which is even funnier.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars.
Oh shit!
Rocket League makes a lot more sense.
See, I think that's it. With you having such a goofball, convoluted name like that, everybody just like, what is this? Or they could have just called it car soccer.
Somebody was like, hey, Rocket League. You know what? We can go with that. Let's go with that.
Yeah, keep it nice and simple. Okay, apparently this other game that was revealed is actually coming out. It's not a con. It's Star Citizen. That was the Brian, you know what I'm talking about. Like during the summer, people were like, the theory was like, this is a long con. The game's never going to come out. They're just trying to take your money. Nope, the game's actually coming out. By the way, when I was watching this, cause I was like, for a second, I'm like, is this Mass Effect? What's going on here? It looked cool, but Brian, your thoughts? Because I know you've been hyping this up forever.
Release date. Just give us a damn release date. That's all I care about at this point in time.
Hey man, you can do that alpha though.
No, I want a solid date to say, okay, this is when it's officially version 1.0. you know, that's it. Boom. So I can say, okay, good. I can finally get into it. Because right now I'm just like not really in the mood.
Mm,
And
I
and at
think
the same time, PC exclusive, Tony. How do you
Yeah,
feel?
okay, but whatever.
How do
I'm
you
not
feel,
interested in
Tony?
this game. I don't feel anything. I'm
You
not
like them
interested in this
graphics?
game.
You like
It
them
looked
graphics?
nice. Brian, it wasn't blowing me away if that's what you're asking. It looked nice, but it wasn't like, oh my fucking
it
god.
wasn't blowing them away because it's not on consoles.
I know. That
Even
was
though,
actually in the engine gameplay, unlike
but
other
Brian,
people that
remember,
say
even when I thought it was
things.
Mass Effect, I wasn't like, oh my fucking god, you know. All right, go ahead. Look at Charles.
I think it's a great concept. It's very ambitious. It's definitely one of the more ambitious, probably the most ambitious game um, that we've ever seen. And I think the whole "is it coming out" thing, they made a mistake of not wording things the right way because we have Elite Dangerous. Because Brian, you're playing that. A
Hmm.
lot of the things that Star Citizen is trying to do down the line, Elite Dangerous also plans to do down the line, but they're not receiving that criticism because they're treating their game like, hey, this is 1.0. Each one of these things that comes out later is an added part to the game. While Star Citizen is like all of these individual modules are going to make the complete game and they'll come out over time. And just people think, oh, it's never going to be complete. But honestly, the shit that they've put out so far is better than a lot of games right now, and it's still a lot to do in the game. They just opened up the procedural world or whatever, the persistent world. That's what it's called. They just opened up the alpha of the persistent universe, maybe beta, I don't know. But releasing in modules like that, they're letting people play it, and it's not like a super broken early access game that's never going to come out. They're constantly updating people on the changes. You see those changes happening, and there are parts that are complete that you can play, and there are parts that are in development that you can participate in and read up on as well. So Star Citizen is going to be a really, really big deal. I don't think the release date is going to be for another year and a half, 2 years maybe, for the final game with all those pieces in place, but I'm here for it, man. It looks incredible. I'm probably going to lose my job playing it. I'm fine with
Okay,
that.
right. And the last one was The Walking Dead Michonne. So
Nice.
yeah.
Finally, a character everybody gives a shit about is getting a game.
Oh, wow. Hey, those other games were good though, man.
No, the other games were good, and they had maybe one or two people that some people cared about. But come on, people wanted to play somebody who was actually a real character, not some,
Yeah, but they gave you Clementine, and my man Lee.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that people want to play want to play the characters that they know.
Yeah.
If they made a Telltale game of Norman Reedus, that game would
It
be
did.
hotcakes.
Oh, well, not Delta. It was a different.
No, they did
Yeah,
Norman Reedus the shit out of everything.
we don't talk about that game. What I find
The best
interesting-
Walking Dead game was the one called PT with Norman Reedus in it.
3 episodes. Usually Telltale does 5, and they did 6 with Game of Thrones. So it'll be interesting to see how tight they make the experience. I'm looking forward to it. It's Telltale, so they haven't done me wrong yet. So I'm down with that.
No,
So
man, play some Monkey Island. Go play
yeah,
that.
right. All right. Let's. Yeah.
Can I just ask like a question to all the Telltale fans?
Sure.
How at what point does this become too much?
What do you mean?
Like, at every point, like everything becomes okay. It's too much now. Go away. Like, at what point do you think that the Telltale games will do that?
When they do something that's
We're
a
up
bad
there.
game.
Yeah, when they do something that's bad. I mean, if you keep,
Okay.
it's like people asking when is superhero fatigue going to sit in when they start making bad superhero films or horrible ones consistently. If Telltale starts releasing bad stuff consistently, then people are going to get tired of it. If they release good stuff consistently, people are not going to get tired of it.
Yeah, and the thing that's going to help them maintain their interest is it's the episodic breakdown.
Yeah.
You don't have the fatigue of playing a full game and then they drop another full game and another full game. You feel like it's kind of like a TV show. Like I get episode 1 of this and I can play episode 1 of that while waiting for episode 2 of this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? The more that they add, I think, the better it's going to be for that format.
Yeah, I think you're right because see, even if you're in the middle of a big, heavy game, right, of new Telltale's drops, you're like, okay, let me set 2 or 3 hours aside, play it, get back to what I was doing before. It doesn't intrude on anything, It's like, oh shit, I'm playing this, I can't play this now, So yeah.
Yo, man, you didn't do that. You're lying.
How am I lying?
Wolf Among Us came out, and you're like, oh, I can't play that game. I'm playing this.
Manny, you're getting yourself wrong. Why did I not play Wolf Among Us? Because I don't know the fucking source material. I don't know ElfQuest.
Who gives a shit? You didn't know about Walking Dead.
Yes, I did. Right? I was reading Walking Dead for years. What are you talking about?
Listen, the thing is, you don't need to have read any of the Fable books to know what's going on.
I'm not going to jump into that without reading it. You know that.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Well,
seriously,
I'm not going to do that.
That is kind of weird that you won't play that. Did you play the previous Witcher games?
I have not.
And you're going to play Witcher 3, aren't you?
I still haven't bought it, Charles.
But you said you're going to buy it, and I'm not. You're not just going to buy it just to have it sit there.
No, because it's $25. I don't think I have a choice now. Understand?
But you don't know
why
the
you think
backstory.
No, it's still almost the same situation because the Wolf Among Us game is actually cheaper than that.
Yeah, but I don't know it, man.
Doesn't matter if you know it. Just think of it as everything that you need to know that is in the story, just like any other game.
Wait a minute, I'm a fucking idiot. I have it in my PS4. I just haven't played it yet. Never mind. Because it was free. Can't say no to free. So I'll get to that. But the point is, Telltale hasn't been fucking up. They've been doing consistent work, so I don't think anyone's going to get tired of their stuff. I was playing Metal Gear. I was like, let me take a little Metal Gear break so I can play some Game of Thrones. No problem. It's cool. All right, let's get to some of these awards. So I'm just gonna run them down in order here. Okay, some of these are ridiculous. Best fan creation. I'm gonna skip that shit. Fuck that.
The best fan creation. I don't even know what the nominees were. They did. It's one of those things that they name during right before they go on those idiotic commercial breaks, or they go. Or in the pre-show, because there's like a bunch of awards that people won during the fucking pre-show.
Yeah, let's just skip that.
The fan creation's kind of interesting. It's literally these guys made like the game that won.
The best mod. Yeah. Essentially.
That's this is like in film, like fan-made films and stuff like that.
So I mean, it's cool to give that a thing, especially the one that that won the award, which is the Portal one, which they actually really went into They actually made a really good mod or narrative with that game. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's another one that was controversial. Trending Gamer, Mr. Greg Miller won that because he's probably the most likable person on this list. He's the least polarizing person. Actually, I don't think he's polarizing at all. Does anyone not like Greg Miller, or at least does anyone actually? I hate Greg Miller. I don't think I've never really heard that guy.
He hasn't done anything that's just like, oh, he's evil, blah blah blah. Like when he was with IGN, he was awesome to see because he was just like a gamer excited about games that knew how to articulate himself. He articulated himself well. He was exciting, and then his split from IGN made him even more likable.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't have a problem with the guy at all, and I'm very glad that he won the award.
I feel, even though I feel that kind of Total Biscuit should have won it, but
But then he won it last year.
Did he win it last year?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay, so then forget it.
Which is why I was surprised that he was there again. It's like, really? Trending again? But,
anyway,
I don't want
I was also expecting the PewDiePie guy to win this time, too.
Oh, I was hoping he was not going to win. Him and Markiplier, I watched, Markiplier stuff, because, sometimes he can be funny, but as long as PewDiePie didn't win, then I was happy, because fuck him. I mean, simply because his content is just below average. It's like stuff for people in the lower percentile of IQ. I'm sorry, but it has to be.
His fan base are children, Brian, so there you go.
Yeah, his fan base are literally people younger than the people that buy Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, he has his own. He has his little appeal and everything, but I definitely would take Total Biscuit and Greg Miller over him because they actually have legitimate discussions about the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he does that at all.
No, he doesn't.
Hey, do your thing, get your money, that's fine.
He is about the reaction,
Yeah. And I'm like,
Markiplier is kind of in the same boat where it's reactionary, but he does very good storytelling. in like how
Well,
he reacts.
I didn't mention him because I haven't seen any of his stuff, so I didn't know what side he fell on as far as that
It's very
goes.
much PewDiePie shouting into the camera thing. So
I'm
I'm not gonna lie, like
probably
I've seen like some of his things, but he does like have like very good stories. Like when he does react to like funny things. 'Cause, like I remember that I was watching his SCP playthrough, and he made up like some funny characters and funny stories and all that stuff, which I thought was pretty inventive. You know, so marks on creativity, but pretty much shouting at the camera whenever anything happened. It's like a bug was on the seat. Oh, a bug's on the seat. Oh no, bug's on the seat. Screaming to the camera. Yeah.
All right. The next thing here is esports game of the year. That went to Counter-Strike, Global Offensive. I could have sworn I played that for SCFU and play years ago. Is this a new game? I don't understand what's going on here.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It's still like one of the highest played games on Steam right now.
Yeah. And
Shit.
esport probably like the esport of the year thing, that will probably transcend beyond the year as far as release date go, because the esports games sustained interest for quite a while. So I'm excited that category even existed.
All right. There's a couple more esports things here.
Sorry to interject. Yep, it's currently has 161,000 players right now. It's the second highest played game on Steam right now.
Jeez.
Yep,
What's the
even
first?
above Dota 2. Like, do you need to ask?
Yeah.
Dota 2 has more than the next 9 combined. And that includes Fallout 4, Warframe, Team Fortress 2, Skyrim, and GTA 5, and Ark, and Civilization 5.
So 2 Valve games are at the top of a Valve website.
And
Very
these are,
interesting.
these are like
that's all-
esport games as well.
That's all he's looking at right now, though. And then League of Legends is probably either at the top of that or second place.
I don't think that league gets tracked by.
No,
Steam,
that's what I'm saying. You won't have
Oh.
that number there, but just the way that they have their stuff set up, they're probably either playing. They have more people playing, or they're like close to Dota's number or higher.
I wondered about that. It's actually higher than Dota.
Oh yeah, I remember I was talking to one of the clerks at GameStop, and they said the thing that they sell the most is those fucking League of Legends cards. Like that's the main thing they sell. Like they sell like thousands, like $1,000 a day or some crazy shit like that. You know, it's insane, which is interesting because I remember like I think I was talking about it on Twitter. I was like, I don't like League of Legends. I don't even know what kind of game this is, and it's like the biggest thing out there. It's hilarious. All right, the next thing here is esports team of the year. That went to Optic Gaming. I joked, I'm like, yeah, that won because that's the only people I've never heard of any of these teams except for Optic Gaming. So good for them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I'm very happy that they won.
I'm surprised that they didn't do a 360 no scope to celebrate. There we go. Someone gets it. There's someone else that's laughing
right over
as well.
my head. Right over my head.
It's a Call of Duty joke. If you're a big fan of Call of Duty, then you either hate me or find that incredibly funny.
All right. Esports Player of the Year went to Kenny Shrub. His name is Kenny S. For Counter.
Oh, we lost Tony.
Somebody done froze.
Are you saying?
Oh, we lost him for a
You
second.
just frozoned.
Yeah, Time Warner's being very special tonight. All right. So next here, most anticipated game that went to No Man's Sky.
I think
I find that
it's,
funny.
again, another one of those things that hilarious how they announced it. All they did was they just named it in like almost a commercial break. That's where they did it.
Wow. Brian, why did you find that funny?
Because it was like announced like 2 years ago now, and still just like, hey, this game. But yeah, people get mad when Civil War gets releases their first trailer 6 months before the film's out. Because logic, yes. and then even just to go back and then just fan the flames of DC and Marvel War. When was the first Batman vs Superman trailer out?
Wait, what? Oh,
When
yeah,
was the
yeah,
first
yeah, good
Batman
point.
vs Superman trailer out? And yet no one said shit. But yet Marvel releases 6 months before. Oh, big Cooper.
You mean how they always do, right?
I'm
It's
just
always
saying.
6 months before, yeah.
That's probably because Batman and Superman have been consistently
I think Matt is going to
man.
hate us now.
Oh yeah, yeah, Matthew. Oh man, poor Matthew. We'll get to that later. All right. Best multiplayer went to Splatoon. I was very surprised by that. I thought Rocket League was going to win that shit just because of the amount of people hyping it up. You know, so I guess they Reggie was in the house, so they needed to get him up there. So there
Here's
you go.
the thing: every single person that was in the room, let's just get this out of the way, won an award.
Of course,
One award.
Yeah, they didn't fly him out there.
Things that have been,
nothing.
yeah, exactly.
They didn't fly him out there for nothing. You know.
So even Mario Maker won something.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mario Maker. But I guess Splatoon was like the second biggest game I heard about as far as like big multiplayer that I heard. So I guess that best sports racing game. I didn't even see this on during the fucking show.
No, they didn't.
They actually said when Rocket League won they won a different award, and when they won that one, that's when they said that they also won the other award.
Yeah,
the best
the
indie
sports
award.
Yeah, the best indie award. When they got that one, they were like, "Hey, they also won." Blah blah blah.
And I'm like, and you're saying to yourself, when was this?
Hey, hold on a second. So you're telling me that Rocket League beat out the Muhammad Ali of racing games for best racing sports game? That's what you're telling me.
Yep. It also beat out Need for Speed, which has a legacy.
This category is so stupid.
Well, no. Hold your horses, because first off, Need for Speed was not a great Need for Speed game, and Forza, no one's even talking about Forza now, as opposed to Rocket League.
No, because it's in here.
I said who's talking about it. Like, as far as Game of the Year being prevalent and on people's minds. Like,
no, I'm talking about it just in best sports racing games. Rocket League beat out Forza and FIFA, and this category is so stupid. Why not divide it? Best sports games, best racing game, not both.
Because they honestly don't have enough.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah,
that was the question you've had.
Manny, Charles, go ahead.
No, I was saying what Manny was saying.
Okay.
You said
both said at the same time. Yeah, I know it was last year, but it was stupid last year, and it's stupid now. Like, separate them. Come on. Hey, at the coalition, we separate them. Just saying.
Yeah, but look at how bad we have to reach to fill those spots.
Hey, listen, Need for Speed is not a bad game, man.
Look, mediocre games aren't on your end of the year list. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, man, but like you said, you got to fill it up.
And if you have a shortage, you have to fill it with something. If it just so happens to be a game that nobody gives a shit about, put it in there anyway.
Hey, listen, my boy Lewis swears by Need for Speed, man. So there you go. It's his game of the year.
Yeah, and also, I consider racing to be a sport anyway, so I don't mind it being put together.
No, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna compare a racing game to a basketball game. It's like, why not compare a basketball game? But I don't know. It's weird.
Dude, when you get to the gameplay mechanics, it's the same stuff because you get the seasons and, raising and your rankings and all that stuff. It's basically the same thing when you break it all down.
But see, Pro Evolution Soccer versus FIFA, I understand that. It's like
just because it's the same sport.
Yeah, but even NBA versus FIFA, I get it. There's a ball involved. I'll defer.
There's a ball involved.
I'll defer to you, Charles, on this one. You're Mr. Sportsman. I'm ignorant about these things. All right, another one that wasn't shown there. Best family game. That went to Super Mario Maker.
Of course.
Okay.
That sucks that they didn't show that.
Yeah. It was up against Infinity, Lego Dimensions, Skylanders, and Splatoon. Best fighting game, another one they showed off. Not off here, but it was like I just seen.
It was announced in the pre-show, and Mortal Kombat won that.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat won. Man, you beat out Guilty Gear, man.
What the fuck? You know why? It's because they could easily call Ed Boon to come fly over. They didn't want to play. You call the Japanese guys, and they'll be like, pfft.
Dude. First off, my only issue with that is one of the games that was nominated. Motherfucking Rising Thunder, a game that is in fucking alpha stages right now, or technical beta now. How is that nominated as Game of the Year? And there's a handful of people playing this right now.
Hey, they needed to fill up the slots, right?
I guess so. My goodness, man.
All right. Best role-playing game went to The Witcher. It was up against a bunch of others. Pillars of Eternity. I know you like that one, Charles.
That's my game of the year, bruh.
Undertale. Bloodborne. I guess that's an RPG, and of course, Fallout 4. All right, best action game. Best action game went to Metal Gear Solid 5. I was very surprised by that because Mark Hamill was on stage. I'm like, Batman's going to win it. I think Brian, you were saying that too, and nope, Metal Gear won it. But that led to a segue of what's her face, Quiet, doing a song. So they flew her out there. They needed her to do something.
Yeah, actually,
Quiet herself, because like the voice actor or the.
It's the model. It's the model.
She also performs the voice of Quiet as well. So she's Quiet is her. She is Quiet.
She's pretty much is just Quiet.
She's
she's Quiet. She did all the motion captures. They modeled her, and then when something in the game happens, she does that too.
Me already swore that.
Whatever.
Oh,
At some point, she does do something that involves her not being quiet. Anyway, the song that she sang was the song that she hums and thing. It's interesting though. They also flew over Donna Burke there. Donna Burke is the one that sings the "Sins of the Father" song. The one that goes whoa. That.
Yeah.
She was there too. I'm like, get her ass out there.
Maybe they did, and they just didn't show it on TV.
Yeah. Maybe that's right.
All right, the best shooter went to Splatoon over Destiny and Call of Duty. Very interesting.
Can I just point out something very funny about the best fighting game?
Yeah.
Is that they have Rise of the Incarnates, which came out this year, and is also going to be shut down this year. Which I thought was quite funny.
Rise of the Incarnates makes me think of Rise of the Imperfects. I don't know if anyone remember that fighting game.
I freaking love that game. It was so fun.
Okay. Games for change, a category I don't quite understand. So I'm guessing the SJW category. And Life is Strange won that one. There you go.
Congrats to Life is Strange. It definitely deserved it.
Yeah, it's a good game for sure. Best performance, Viva Seifert for her story. I need to talk about her story for a little bit. I didn't hear about that. I never even heard this game until tonight. And
I thought Viva Seifert did The Witcher 3. Oh wait, that's right.
She was in The Witcher 3, remember? She played random peasant girl number 65.
Yeah, right? But yeah, this game was getting all this praise. And I mean, okay, if you like the game, fine. But I'm looking, I'm like, okay, FMV games are making a big comeback this year. We had Guitar Hero, we had Guitar Hero. This one, there was another one I'm missing. So yeah, very interesting. But
her story is kind of.
It seemed like they were pushing an agenda with this game. I don't know.
It's very not efficient. Quite
an
FMV game.
It's not really an agenda. I mean, the thing is, it's just it lets you kind of draw your conclusions as to if this character murdered somebody or not, or if she's two different people.
Let me just explain this to Tony, because Tony had never heard of it, and
never until tonight. I've never.
Why not? Because it's a PC exclusive, and of course PC exclusives don't exist, so makes sense.
They don't, man.
Essentially, okay. From what I remember, essentially this woman was reprimanded by the police for some crime, and then essentially they done a whole bunch of interviews and just put them all in one giant database, and now you have access to this database, and it's your job to find out the truth behind the story by typing in certain words that will bring out certain videos, and then you go through and you watch them, and then you make your conclusion. But the thing is, what you type in that box will bring out certain videos, so you type in the right thing to get the right videos out, and then also decide, is she lying, is she not lying. So that's why it's very different to anything else out there, because it's actually down to the gamer to make the final choice. And the game doesn't hold your hand. The game doesn't tell you shit. It's literally, here you go, here's some shit, work out the truth.
And they give you this fake operation system. It's almost like you're in somebody else's computer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's an interesting idea.
It's a very interesting idea, very different game mechanics from what I even heard. And the AAA industry is just completely ignorant to this type of crap, because it's AAA and everything must explode. So yeah.
Shooter man, right, Brian?
Well, it's pretty much just Cause 3, which I think is quite funny. Like, okay, just go watch any trailer now and just count the time between explosions. It will most likely be no more than 7 seconds.
Which, by the way, those are very nice explosions.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. If you watch the video I put up on Coalition, I think that's about how long it takes for some shit to explode. It's explosions everywhere.
It's like,
the tutorial is to blow something up, isn't it?
Yes, the whole game is to blow something up.
Oh no, I'm just talking about the AAA games in general. Like, just wait until there's an explosion. It's about 7 seconds.
All right. Here's another one I didn't see on the show. Best soundtrack. I went to Metal Gear Solid 5. I will vouch for that. That was a good ass soundtrack.
Yep.
Best art direction, Ori and the Blind Forest. Phil Spencer was there, so it's like, okay, he ain't gonna go up there to give it to Bloodborne. Although that would have been hilarious if he did that.
I think this is about the point where I can't hold my damn mouth anymore.
Brett, please go off, man.
Brett, let me just sit your soapbox up here.
Okay, really, the best art direction. Like, you have people handcraft molding things that are pretty much indistinguishable from real life. I understand it's kitschy, it's cute, like maybe it's sophisticated, you think it's fucking cultured, you think it makes you some kind of deeper ass-tard because you like Ori and the Blind Forest more than this other stuff which is clearly technologically superior. I'm sorry, in terms of pure raw talent, can you really, fucking look at Bloodborne. I'm sorry, I'm not even saying Bloodborne should be the one that gets this, but fucking Christ, look at the other games on this list and tell me that Ori and the Blind Forest is the high watermark of technological art in this fucking medium, because it fucking isn't.
But that's not the award, though.
Exactly. Charles, I need to stop because I think I know where you're going, but this is what I say. Because when I saw this live, I was like, okay, it makes sense. Ori and the Blind Forest was the only game besides Bloodborne that had an actual art direction. The others is like, make it real. And to me, and Brett, here's where you're going to disagree with me. To me, when you're trying to make everything look real, every game looks the same and it looks fucking boring.
Well, and that's, I guess... Yeah. No, you can have interesting art. You can have interesting art direction. You can do really cool things with lighting and things like that. But that's my point. Even the fucking category best art direction. The fuck is that even supposed to mean? These are arbitrary standards. And I know that this whole fucking award show is arbitrary standards. You're crafting your own goalposts so that only one fucking ball can get into it. Yeah, but no shit, but why don't you actually judge which are the best made fucking video games in a fucking video game award show? How's that for a thing?
But again, we're talking about art direction. We're not talking about technically superior visuals. They're not talking about that. They're talking about art direction. And
no, but I meant art direction.
Ori and the Blind Forest had the most distinct art direction out of any of these games.
What were the other nominees? I'm totally blanking.
The other
when important information comes out.
Yeah.
It
was Batman, Bloodborne, Metal Gear, and The Witcher.
To be fair, The Witcher 3 had nice swords and nice armors.
Yeah. But the thing is, even Witcher, that game is meant to look very realistic. Metal Gear, meant to look very realistic. Bloodborne is the only other game out there okay, that you don't see that kind of shit in the real world. That's art direction.
I agree with him in a sense that the nominations are really weirdly skewed, because even when Ori won, I was like, okay, as far as art direction, that's the only one that's different from the other games. And then if you look at technical marvels, then you would think that The Order would have been nominated at least in this particular category, because if they're going for realism, then that definitely had it up there.
Yeah. My beef is that they have the award as best art direction and not outstanding visuals. It seems like a category pandering towards games like Ori and the Blind Forest.
They should probably have two categories: best art style and best the thing you just said as well.
Yeah,
because that'd be two different things.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're going to go on based on that, then The Witcher would have won if you're basing it on technical stuff. But if you're basing it on just art direction, distinct art direction, that would go.
But that's my point. All these fucking categories and all these fucking winners, the best narrative of any video game we've played this year is Her Story. Really?
Undertale, definitely should have taken that award. I think it was nominated in that one.
By the way, people got pissed when that one won, man. On Twitter blew up what the fuck? People were mad, man.
But then the question is, how are the people being mad? Have they actually played it?
That's a very good
Probably
question.
not. No. Most likely
This
they
is what I don't understand. It's like if you haven't played it, then you can't really criticize it for winning. Like
Yeah, it's a
if
good
Batman
point.
Arkham Knight had won, then like in best game of the year, then I would have had an issue because again I played most of the other contenders, so it's like
and it doesn't compare. I
yeah,
understand.
I don't think it compares from what I've heard, but in general it's like just not comparable. But this whole thing with Her Story is like it's done something different. It's like it's done something that people just have not thought about doing before and presents it in such a way that it forces you to think in a video game, which most video games don't.
And
And
and I agree with that, but are we celebrating the best video games or the ones that are different?
but then that's the thing, like
You can be different and also be the best and more distinct, most distinct. I think.
This whole thing just
Well,
smacks of the same thing that like the Oscars have. Like it's just a bunch of assholes getting in a room to break their own arms to pat themselves on the back.
Okay,
Like,
I need
yeah.
to hold on.
I don't argue with that.
Hold on, I need to stop right now because Brett hit it on the nail. Right, Brett. Okay, Charles, you said I'm never gonna be satisfied, and he just named right there. Every award show is like that. It's all, at the end of it, it all comes down to just these guys. It's circle jerk, basically. Brett, you said it nicer than I did. It's a fucking circle jerk, So it always comes down to that. So I definitely just wanted to jump in and say that because I completely agree with you. Every award show is like that. It's just a bunch of like, oh yeah, you did great. Didn't you?
The only difference is the Oscars don't constantly bombard you with ads about buying or seeing the movies that they just nominated.
Yeah, but go ahead, Brian. What were you gonna say, Ben?
Tony, since you have the page up, what were the other contenders for the best narrative?
Oh,
I don't see the comparisons.
Okay,
else was
Life,
nominated.
Life is Strange, Tales from the Borderlands, The Witcher 3, and Until Dawn.
Oh, Undertale wasn't even in there. Shit.
Nope.
Wow. Okay. Until Dawn can't win simply because it's horror cliche 101. Sorry,
Pretty much.
that should not be there in the first place.
Yeah,
Undertale should replace
it's-
Until Dawn.
It's
That's my
Until
thought.
Dawn. Until Dawn in general is just schlock. But that the thing is that's what it does. I couldn't name that for the best narrative, but I would have to say that it was done very well. But I wouldn't say it was a best narrative.
Oh wow, Brian! I just saw the tweet you sent me.
Which one? With the crowds?
Yes. Okay. So basically,
Yeah, that's shocking.
what? Man, that's bad. Okay. So basically, you guys noticed that there was a crowd right in front of the stage, right? They were standing. So someone took video of them, going like that during the song, right? Like la la. The people actually sitting down were just like that.
There is a huge disconnect between possibly the first 4 or 5 rows with the glow sticks and stuff, and then the rest of the concert hall thing. And I mean, it is horrifying. It's not like the rest are just sat down. It's like there are empty seats there. I mean, a significant amount of empty seats there.
I just saw that too. Like there's a huge gap of just nobody sitting down.
Nobody's sitting down. Yeah, no one's sitting.
Nobody's sitting there. Period.
Yeah.
Oh, it just goes back.
Well, the thing is that we've been in there. If you guys watched the Nintendo Championships, that room was never full.
Nope.
But the way they filmed it on when you saw it on TV and on the streams, the first few rows were filled, but the rest of the arena was empty.
Yeah, but this thing, not even the first few rows are filled, though. That's the thing. Okay, anyway, let's get back.
I also think at the same time it's because they only invite the people that actually are going to win.
Oh yeah,
that's why that place is not filled. Like if you were ever to fill up that place with all the nominees of all the different games that are they would fill that whole arena up. But of course, since you're just inviting all the guys that win, then whatever.
Yeah. All right, next up was Best Mobile / Handheld Game that went to Lara Croft Go. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Callum May. He went off on this. He's like, "You're telling me that shit beat Monster Hunter? Get the fuck out of here!" Oh man! So the other nominees were Downwell, Fallout Shelter, Monster Hunter, and Pac-Man 256. Isn't Lara Croft? Forgive my ignorance. Isn't that like a endless runner?
I can confirm to you if you vamped for a minute and a bit, but I still found it funny that Pac-Man was there.
Yeah, Pac-Man. Hey, good for you, Pac-Man. You're still getting shit.
It's me, a Pac-Man.
I'm surprised that wasn't a Pokemon game this year.
Yeah, maybe next year it'll come up with one. All right.
Okay. Stop that. I'm on the site or the thing now. It
Because I would find it very funny if it's if an endless runner won.
I can't tell, but it looks like a very restricted version of those isometric Lara Croft games.
Oh, you mean like the? Okay,
Like
that's not bad.
Temple of Osiris
Yeah,
was one.
that was good stuff though. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it just seemed like a very restricted version of that where you are told, oh, there's places where you can go, like up, down, left, right type thing. So
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Next up here, best independent game. That went to Rocket League, another one that people were kind of like, what? Axiom Verge, Her Story again, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Undertale were the other ones
I'm
here.
surprised that Witcher 3 wasn't there.
Well, because we're not going to get into that. We already
Well,
said
it is an independent game.
Yeah, funded by Warner Brothers.
It's not.
Not funded by Warner Brothers.
All right. Developer of the
I
year.
want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know why the fuck Kerbal Space Program isn't in there. not even fucking nominated? Are you shitting me? Like
That's because Jeff Keighley didn't play that.
But a game that
You didn't play.
rocket science. Like, it's fucking educational, it's homogenized, it's fun, there's a ton of content, it's fucking sponsored by NASA. Like, not even fucking nominated?
Yes.
I know, but Brett, they couldn't give any bills to Doritos Pope to get in the Staples Center, so they don't get nominated.
God.
All right. Developer of the year, CD Projekt Red won that one.
That's the only thing I agree with.
Yeah, Kojima Productions, Nintendo, Bethesda, and
I
From
love
Software. And now we're gonna get to my favorite part of the show.
The thing that number one, I have to say that they specifically never say Konami in any of the nominations. They always say Kojima Productions. They never say other part of it.
Yeah, I mean, after what Tony's about to say, you totally realize that they did that on purpose.
Okay,
Definitely
now,
on purpose.
yeah, I mean, okay, you guys know how I feel about Jeff Keighley. I don't exactly disrespect the man, 'cause I just find him very boring and bland. He's milquetoast. I don't like the way he presents stuff. Very, very boring. Tonight I got some respect for this dude. He put
Shots fired. That's all I had to say.
He put Konami on blast.
He put on his big boy pants.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he did it in a very, civil way. He didn't do it the way we would have done it. But anyway, so he gets up there. He's like, "Oh yeah, we invited Kojima to be on, but unfortunately," and he said it in these exact words, "he couldn't be on because the lawyers at Konami didn't want him to be here." People booed at that shit.
Oh yeah.
Man. So he was like, "Thank you, Kojima. We know you're watching this. We thank you for creating such a great game and giving us all this." And then after that, he like promotes Metal Gear Solid 5. It's hilarious.
Yeah, because essentially Metal Gear Solid 5 on the PlayStation Network is like 50% off or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah. So yes, that was my favorite part of the whole show. Charles, give us your thoughts on that, please.
Oh, I mean, I respect him for it. I think it's complete horseshit, the whole Konami, Kojima fucking rope pull bullshit that's going on. And for them to kind of ban him from going to receive a reward is really dumb. But, I don't know what he has planned, but I hope that we get Kojima and his own company going forward doing some incredible stuff, because I'm definitely going to be there to support it.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
It just amazes me how Konami just does these shitbag things constantly, like lying to us, and then you prevent the guy who created this great franchise from picking up an award. Like, are you serious? You threatened him with legal action if he went to LA to get an award for the game he created. It's just insane.
As far as they're concerned, they created it.
It's a Konami
They
production.
paid for it.
Fucked up, but yeah, I'm glad Jeff Keighley respect for this man for doing that. I like that. And now let's get to the main thing. Game of the year. The nominees were Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Super Mario Maker. Chris was on there, and the one that won, The Witcher 3. I was very surprised by that. I thought I was gonna.
Tony, I'll tell you what. For a second, I thought, because Reggie was there and the whole thing that they had on.
So did I.
Yeah, I thought Super Mario Maker was going to win, and I literally was going to shit my pants if it won. Like, I literally was going to lose bowel control.
I wanted it to win just to see the explosions on the internet. It would have been beautiful, you know? Because, okay, I tweeted this out first. I was like, this isn't, because we said it's like, this isn't a game. How is this nominated for Game of the Year? But then I was told that there are 100 levels in it. So, okay, that's a game enough. Okay, fine.
It's a game like how Little Big Planet is a game.
Yeah.
And even Little Big Planet had a semblance of a story.
Yeah, Little Big Planet is more of a game.
Yeah, let's just be
I'll
honest.
just say that, yeah.
All
I
I gotta say is though, all the praise that they had that little intro thing and they're like, oh, Mario Maker, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on, guys, Little Big Planet did this shit first. They just made their version. They just literally, they even said it. Nintendo said it themselves. They just took the thing that they used to make Super Mario games and made it into a release.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's a creative tool. By the way, Manny, Little Big Planet didn't do it first. PC modders did this 10 years ago, apparently.
Go on Newgrounds and play this shit.
So yeah, Witcher 3 one of the few games I didn't get to play this year, but that's fine by me. CD Projekt Red does some good shit, so no problems there. But I'm very surprised Fallout didn't win, because that's like the big slobber knocker fucking game.
I was a bit surprised that Fallout didn't win either. But here's the problem I have with the award shows being done in the year of the actual award. That all the games come out. It's not fair if a game like at the end of the year, here we go, Fallout and Tomb Raider just came out. Why it's like, why are these things even nominated? If you're gonna do this, we should do it like a little bit later, where it's kind of simmered a bit.
What are your thoughts on the fact that a game like Just Cause 3 couldn't be on here because the awards end at the end of November? Like, it's from that time period.
I thought it got nominated.
No, Brian. They said Just Cause 3 and the new Rainbow Six cannot be nominated for anything because the timeline is from the end of November last year to the end of November this year. That's how it goes.
Yeah, there's no problem with that because it'll be, if it's deserving, it'll be on the thing for next year. And what Manny is saying, that it probably should be even earlier than that. It should be like a month back before then, or just completely out of the year or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I would think they should do. Maybe in January or something.
Yeah, but I respect them not putting Just Cause and Rainbow Six on there. I mean, people haven't even had 2 weeks to fucking digest them. You know what I'm saying? So
here's my thing though. Do you think it's kind of unfair to those games next year that they might be forgotten because everyone's going to be focusing on the new shit?
No.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
It's the same reason why you never hear nominations for games probably before March, because it seems like from March onward is when they really count.
Yeah.
And especially since the holiday time is when all the nominees just drop, so it's kind of
what games would y'all say deserve to be put in from?
Oh no, I'm just asking a hypothetical. Understand? Like, what if a really bomb-ass game comes out in December and then no one talks about it next year because they're talking about the other stuff?
Yeah, but the thing I have to think about that is what is the perfect point of reference? So your point of reference is Dying Light.
Dying came out in January, but again, no one talked about it, even though it wasn't it would have been nominated, eligible. That's what I'm looking for. It would be eligible, but it was in January.
Gotcha.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Dying Light, I mean, that game did limb shit that I've never seen in a game before. You could get very precise cuts. Then you get nominated for anything. I think that's what Brian's trying to get at. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. All right. Any final thoughts? So yeah, like I said, better than last year, but it was still a glorified commercial. But I give Jeff Keighley very much respect for doing what he did. So that was a highlight for me right there.
It was a great highlight. In my opinion, I really enjoyed it. And I didn't get to start watching it until the Uncharted part, so I didn't get to see the annoying pre-show stuff that y'all were talking about.
Yeah, the pre-show. Yeah. Manny,
it wasn't as good as our pre-show.
Yeah, our pre-show.
Our pre-show was amazing.
Yeah, you guys missed a very good discussion on Jessica Jones. Manny, what'd you think? Because I know you had some thoughts on this.
I didn't just like you. I didn't hate it.
But
again, it's I can imagine. I was just thinking about sitting in there and slogging through all those fucking commercials. Literally commercial after commercial. It's it's ad space. And I mean, and they're not showing anything no other award show really does that. Like, in other words, because they're using it as a vehicle to also promote more games that are coming out. It's a weird thing.
But then, do you know like the funny things? Like this is kind of like any E3 presentation. It's like all those
Yeah.
are just giant 1.5 hour long
Oh yeah,
commercials.
we've seen those too. Well, and it's still there's no way to there is no way around it. It's just you sitting in a theater watching videos on a giant screen.
Yeah, it's I I guess it's just the inherent issue with video games in general is that you need to
Yeah.
show them, but how do you show them without feeling like a commercial,
Yeah.
which is near enough impossible as far as I know.
Yeah.
But
What'd you
I
think, Brian?
still I thought it was alright for like the brief couple of moments when I was looking at it because as Blackstar and Torrance knows, I was too busy beating their time in Just Cause 3. Um, Essentially, I set my wingsuit time of like 4 minutes and said to these guys, "Hey, I finally know how the wingsuit works." So Blackstar decided to be nice and beat my time with like 5 minutes something. So I said, "Oh, okay, Blackstar, let's play." So I went on, I smashed his time and did a 35-minute wingsuit run.
Holy shit.
35 minutes just wingsuiting. Like I went through like reveals. I went through the Iwata like thing, which was actually done like very good. I almost died like 6 times like while watching that because I was like, okay, Iwata thing in like important at the same time. Just Cause 3, you know.
Yeah, you know what,
So
Brian? Thank you for reminding me about something. I almost forgot about this.
yeah,
So yeah, they had a tribute to Iwata, right? Which is good. You want to have a tribute to it, but then Reggie had to throw numbers in there, and I know people got mad at me and Chris for pointing that shit out, but it's like that's pretty fucking tasteless, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't start like chest thumping numbers when you're trying to pay tribute to this man.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I said something. You and I both said something on Twitter, and then people instantly replied, jumped on. So it's like, oh, he was a genius or whatever. I'm not disrespecting the man, but here's the thing: why did Nintendo? The man's been dead for 5 months. Why has there not been a Nintendo Direct or a tribute directly from them, done by them for him before this?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yep.
Even the last direct, they mentioned it a little bit and then they moved on. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
man, like Iwata, like they said on the show, he's a unique guy. Like he's not only was he a developer, but he was a businessman at the
Yeah.
same time. You know,
I'm
like
sorry, this show is not about Nintendo. It's about the industry. And while that was a sad thing, and they could have brought it up, I felt like that was the whole thing. It was just like, oh, we lost this visionary, blah blah blah, and it became about that. Then they threw in numbers in there, which was completely tasteless. And I won't back down from that. I don't think, I think it was like a pity play, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And if they really wanted to do something for him, they should have done it themselves.
Good. What part do you think was a pity play?
The whole thing. The whole thing.
I have like a slight thing because I've never talked about Nintendo on any of these shows because I don't follow them. But I've seen like the whole numbers thing as more of a okay, this guy was this influential and these are the numbers to prove it. I thought it's more along that type of way.
it's the numbers part that bugged me though. He could have said that. It's like, hey, the Wii was a great selling system without going, oh yeah, we outsold everybody. It's like, come on, don't do that during the like.
But here's the thing. It's like if we want to be real about this, I didn't put this on Twitter or anything, but Iwata didn't develop the Wii. It didn't develop anything that sold 100 million units. Why didn't they do a lifetime tribute to Gunpei Yokoi, who actually developed it? And he's dead. I don't remember him getting a tribute or anything like that. Iwata, like, he led the company, yeah, but he led them through some dark times and some good times. But it's not like he did, all this earth-shattering stuff, and we had this like enormous loss to everything. Like, while it's sad he's dead, I just feel like this was just, I don't know, it didn't feel genuine. It didn't.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's because of Reggie, because he just seems like a very ungenuine type of guy, But yeah, I didn't like.
He is a marketing guy, so.
Yeah, I felt that was very tasteless the way when he just shoved that in there. Oh, by the way, guys, it's fucked up. All right, so any other thoughts on this before we move on?
I thought it was an alright show for the most part. I mean, bar the stupid amounts of adverts and the I Justine crap, I mean, and the dead mouse. Or is it dead mouse or dead mouse?
Dead Mouse. By the way, Dead Mouse, I always remember him as the guy who lied about leaving his Vita in a taxi, like at the original VGAs. Like, people got pissed because, okay, this was when the Vita first came out, right? And they were giving like prototypes to people, and they gave him one of the prototypes, and he was like, "Oh yeah, guys, I lost it in a taxi," ha ha ha. And people got pissed off at him. Sony got mad at him too. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I was lying." So I always remember for that.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't give it to idiots.
Well,
Just because a person is somewhat known doesn't mean that they're responsible and have your best interests in mind. Even in that interview that with that idiot, he was just like, "Hey, look, I actually did something." Get off the fucking stage! You just freaking spin records.
Damn. I was waiting for. I was like, is there gonna be a song in here somewhere when he was on stage? And at one point he was wearing a bed sheet. I'm like, are you going to bed now? Because nothing's happening.
Yeah, I'm going to bed watching you. I mean, I wasn't digging the other performance, the one with the girl, but at least they performed. They put on a decent show. So I was like, okay, this is cool. Or the guy who played the piano for where they played that one song after Iwata's tribute. Okay, that's fine. Even the Stephanie Houston, that's fine. But his thing is just like, hey, look, we got some schmo who wears a Mickey Mouse mask to spin some records for you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're back there hitting spacebar while the green lasers are spinning behind you. This is really fucking boring.
I think Manny just start a civil war between all artists and DJs.
I'm keeping my mouth shut on this one because I have thoughts, but I'm not gonna say nothing. But
listen, I'm not gonna say this, but there is a talent to it. But at the same time, when you break it fucking down, you're not playing friggin' music. You're just taking a bunch of records and a bunch of samples, and then putting them together and making them something new. Is that? Yes, you can be creative, but to me, I think you are more creative if you're actually making the music from scratch.
Wow. Okay. On a bright note,
it's one thing to watch a video feed of somebody playing music live. It's another thing to watch a video feed of somebody playing audio files off their computer and bobbing their head. You just gotta lose something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Manny said he's a collage artist.
Yes.
For the record, I am a computer programmer, so I'm not an artist, so I'm staying out of this one. Yeah.
I just was bored.
Either way, I thought it was better than last year's show. So they have that going for it.
Yeah, it was better than last year's show.
Definitely they are improving. We'll see how next year's go.
And by the way, I even like the fact, this may sound stupid, I even like the fact Jeff Keighley wasn't all dressed up in a suit and tie. He was just dressed like a normal dude. I appreciate that.
He was all dressed up, but I did find it fun because obviously you could tell that everybody knew what they were going to win. Of
course. So except for the CD Projekt guy, he was like, "What the fuck, bitch? Why'd you call my name?"
Here's the thing: you had Greg Miller in there. He literally looked like he was going to do a presidential debate. He knew he won.
Everybody knew they won, man. All that shit. All that stuff they know beforehand, man. Come on. All right. Let's move on to some gaming news here. Okay. So Sony, quote unquote, won Black Friday. I bring this up because they won by literally 1%. Because some Sony guys were already thumping their chests and shit.
Come on, guys, don't do that shit.
Yeah, say it right, Tony.
Sony ponies.
No. The age demographic as well. Because they won that age demographic, but yet Microsoft won the other one.
Oh yes, okay. So, so Sony won the age demographic, the younger ones, the millennials, right? What is it, 18 to 35 or something? And then, Microsoft, Xbox actually won they call it middle age. And by the way, I don't like the fact that I'm going to be in the middle age category in 3 months. I don't like that.
And yet you bought an Xbox One.
Yes, I did. You son of a bitch, you're right. I didn't think about that. Damn it. Okay, so I guess I'm middle age now.
So how's that New York Times and smoking a pipe going?
Yeah, right. So great.
Yes, I owned my new Xbox One, and I decided to read the Times.
So yes, by 1%. But the thing
is, this means that the Xbox is no longer like a console for 13-year-olds. talk about how much they've had sex with people's moms.
That's a good point.
That's not fun no more.
Oh man. So yeah, but the thing is,
are we saying that the Xbox is for adults now? So if I go to Xbox One right now and I shoot the shit out of somebody, it won't be some little kid cursing me out and saying they fucked my mom, right?
yeah, it'll be some old guy talking about his hemorrhoids and shit. You know.
That's that guy in the midway, that old guy.
The guy was dying.
He bought an Xbox One after the movie.
So yeah, the reason I want to talk about this is because everybody thought the Xbox was going to blow Sony out the water in November, and that doesn't seem to be the case. You know, and I'm also going to mix in another story we got here. Michael Pachter, our favorite Michael Pachter. Here's the thing about Michael Pachter. He makes these predictions, right? He's either completely wrong or he's stating the fucking obvious. He stated the obvious today. He said there is no way in hell the Xbox will ever close the gap on the PS4. Duh. We know that already, you know, but people got all up in arms over that as well, you know, as to be expected.
Why, you know, it's like they don't like hearing what's obvious. It's so silly.
Well, these dudes are waiting for the secret sauce to be. Oh, I didn't add this to the show.
Well, put that in later. Yeah.
I want to talk about it now. Actually, no. I don't know. We're kind of jumping shit around.
Let's finish off with this, and then we can dynamically work that.
Do we have anything more to say about it? Really?
No.
About the Sony way?
Yeah. Do we have any thoughts?
I'll say something real quick.
Go ahead, man.
While it may not have been completely obvious to a lot of people before Black Friday, it's definitely obvious now that they can't catch up because Microsoft often capitalizes on the holiday season to get a large amount. And I had said before, I think you were on the show when I talked about it, if Sony breaks even with Microsoft in this holiday season, that's considered a victory because this is when Microsoft is dropping their heavy hitters. And if they can't overcome Sony now, when could they ever do it?
Yeah. I remember that conversation perfectly, and I agree with him. Like, yeah, even if they break even, Sony won. You know, it's true.
Yeah,
so
like they get to maintain their lead, and it's as simple as that. Like now, basically, they're just gonna have to change the discussion as far as the people behind it, which I hope they do.
They already have. Like, they already have changed the discussion.
Get off of it and just talk about your own the games that y'all have, because there's some awesome stuff coming out, and be happy.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going on now. Phil Spencer said, "Okay, we're not going to talk about sales numbers anymore. We're going to talk about the games that we have coming out," which is good. Here's the thing: even though Sony is, or the PS4 is beating out the Xbox is still killing it out there. It is not failing in any way, shape, or form. It's just not beating.
Honestly, none of these companies down to the bottom are in the red. They're all making money. It's just like one is in the lead. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just interesting. But I think we're at that point now where it's like, guys, stop it. Microsoft is not going to close the gap. Focus on the games that are coming out because there's some good shit coming out. Focus on that. Stop worrying about that.
You know that's not going to happen. You know for a fact that's not going to happen.
Of course not. So these guys are going to, yeah.
One thing I do want to throw out there, I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you. Mm-hmm. Told you this was going to happen.
So you made the same prediction about Sony matching them or beating them?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, the entrenched system is the one that I picked to win this holiday season.
I'm sure there's like a scientific term for it, but I'm just like the front runner effect is there. Like,
yeah.
Your friends are gonna be like, hey, my friends have this. I want the Xbox was the same fucking way.
Exactly. Everybody bought the 360 because all their buddies had 360. Now it's the other way around. Everybody has a PS4, so you're gonna get a PS4. And I do remember me also saying that they would win the holiday season. So, Brett, we're on the same page there, buddy. It's just very interesting how this. But again, I know people are still going to go with the console war. Maybe they're still going to look for that secret sauce. And now apparently Sony has their own secret sauce. Do you guys hear about this? This is the shit I want to talk about because I need to break shit down for these ponies real quick. And I could say that now because I own an Xbox.
Fucking ponies.
Okay, so Microsoft unlocked the power of their 7th core, right? And everybody thought, or the Xbox guys thought, this is it. They're going to blow Sony away, man. We're going to get these crazy-ass graphics. That didn't happen. Now Sony's claiming the same thing. They're going to unlock their 7th core to developers, and everybody's saying, oh, my fucking God, these games are going to be insane. calm it down, guys. It's probably not going to be that astronomically different, if it's different at all. You know. Granted, the only thing is, apparently the 7th core, half of it is still being used or allocated to Connect stuff, right? I don't know if Sony has that. I know they don't have Connect, but I don't know what that 7th core is doing. But again, don't worry about that.
The thing is, it's the same thing that Sony did with the PlayStation Portable. There was at some point they kept it kind of gimped a little bit because they weren't sure if it's really just done to see if it'll overheat or if there failures.
Yeah,
so
they're
essentially
overclocking now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not technically overclocking. What happens is when you code stuff now that's multi-threaded that you can use multiple cores. But on the CPU, you isolate 1 or 2 for operating system stuff, maintenance and drivers and all that stuff. So they isolated these cores to just be used by the operating system and nothing else. So now what they've done is they've unlocked one to be used that developers can now code against and use. But I don't know if it's exclusive to that or if it'll be shared with the system too, because I could see you'll lose some performance in the dashboard if you did that, so it's probably shared or something.
Here's my question. I've played enough games from enough different developers, and you definitely see this a bit more on PC to know how incredibly important optimizing your game is. And I think when we're talking about they're unlocking a new core, this is gonna make a world of difference in the games. I'd caution to say that the difference in the games is going to be made by the developers and how well they use their resources, how well they use their assets, how well they utilize their memory allocations and whatnot. So I think you would see more of a differentiation between a good developer and a not so great developer with just pure talent than you're going to see with quote unquote unlocking a new core. So what we should be focusing on is developers like Naughty Dog who excel in working in these kind of small confined spaces. They excel at making things look really good with not a whole lot. I mean, they've been doing it since the PS3, so it just feels like this whole conversation ought to be the developers, and not necessarily the consoles. Because is there anything that they can really do or unlock right now that's going to make up for good programming or make the difference more than good programming?
No, you're right on that, and let's be real. This squabbling over if they have access to one more core or a little bit more memory allocation, it's not going to matter in a big difference. PC can just have the ultimate pissing contest and be like, "Hey guys, check out my rig," and look at all the access that developers have to that. So it's really just this tiny pool that they're pissing into to talk about, we've unlocked this, we've unlocked that. Yeah, it really is up to the talent of the developer and how much they optimize the games. That's what makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, and I think what people seem to be forgetting is that the Xbox One is the lowest common denominator in this group that we have. We have PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And what all developers do is that they code to the lowest common denominator, which is the Xbox One. So even if the PS4's extra core is super fantabulous, you probably will not see that much of a difference compared to Xbox One in general. Maybe the PS4 exclusives might get an extra bump up, but all in all, I don't think it's anything significant. It'll just be the odd thing here or there that you won't even notice.
Yep, I pretty much agree with that. I wanted to jump in with Chivalry real quick because that game was released, very interesting, 1080p 60 frames on PS4, 1080p 30 frames on Xbox. So I guess the whole parity thing is being thrown out the window now. That's a different discussion for another day. All right, let's jump into some Nintendo shit. Chris, I threw these in here just specifically for you. So apparently the NX is going to ship next year. They're going to ship 10 to 12 million NX units in 2016. When I read this, I was just like, okay, so basically, Nintendo saying don't buy a Wii U. That's what I'm hearing from this. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Real quick, I just want to ask to get this straight. They will be shipping a system that's essentially a system from 2013 in 2016, correct?
Yes. You mean a current gen console? Yes.
That's consoles in a nutshell.
Yeah. So yeah, what do
I'm
you
just
think?
surprised that they're shipping, like, it was quoted that they'll ship 12 million consoles, which is actually rather a lot of consoles considering. So
Well,
either they have massive faith in it,
I don't know
in
how
terms of
they
like hardware
how
specs
did
This sounds
support.
like when I hear that, when there's like there's not a wealth of positive buzz for like the NX right now. It for some reason when I saw that they were shipping that amount, I thought of Dreamcast at that point because I'm like, you guys are jumping the gun just a little bit there.
Yeah,
Like
we don't even know anything about the consoles, do we? Or
we
about the
have
NX.
nothing
well
to be excited for that console. Nothing. There's nothing
Like,
announced
what
well
specifically
is
for it.
confirmed? Like, is the name even confirmed or even known?
there's no name yet, and here's the thing: that the Nikkei insiders who leaked that the console is going to be Android based, right? These guys have never lied with their leaks. Like, even though people are like, oh, these are just rumors, like the rumors are usually correct. So
Gotcha.
this is an Android-based system, first of all. Second of all, the Wii U to date has only sold 10.9 million systems. So shipping 10 to 12 million systems next year is like some kind of enormous pipe dream. Like, I don't know what they're betting on or who's going to buy this, considering EA just like a week ago said that they are not going to start developing anything for the NX until Nintendo can gain some sort of market share. So it's like putting the the cart before the horse there. They're just like, well, you get some market share and we'll consider making games for you. And pretty much that's going to be the attitude of a lot of Western guys. They're going to be like, you know what, we dropped off of this. You haven't proved anything, so now you're releasing this thing. And it's like, and like Charles said, this was the same thing Sega did when the Dreamcast was losing market share to the PlayStation 2. Sega started setting outrageous goals for sales of Dreamcast both in Japan and in the West, and they could not nearly meet them. So I think this like 10 to 12 million number for 2016 like shoots the Wii in the foot. Like, anybody who's in the know, and I'll be like, oh well, why am I going to buy this now? And then on the second place, they don't even have the third-party developer support lined up before they just said, oh, this is just going to happen, guys. We're just going to make this happen. Like, how? How are you going to? You have 4 years of the Wii U that couldn't make this number. And how are you going to do that in 1 year with a console that doesn't even have a name yet and we haven't seen anything about?
Because they're not selling it to us; they're selling the idea to shareholders.
Yeah, but nobody's going to buy it. Like, who are they going to get? Target and Walmart and well, besides GameStop, is basically the only one still like fucking, that they have any type of faith with. But all these other guys are just going to be like, yes, give us plenty of stock of this. I'm sure it will do well. Clearly, because we saw the Black Friday thing. Tony just talked about it. You saw the Wii U numbers compared to Xbox and
19%.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's my question though. I see Nintendo kind of getting back up to its old tricks in this one. Like, what is the point of announcing the amount of consoles that you're going to ship? It's either A, going to be to woo your stockholders, or B, to try and create this idea of artificial scarcity. And to people actually know what the number means, they look at it and they go, 12 million, that's a lot of fucking consoles. But I think to your average person, like, they'll look at it and be like, oh, there's going to be a limited amount of this new Nintendo. And coming from somebody who's a 30-year veteran of gaming and fucking bought my share of Nintendo consoles, Nintendo always does this shit. They send out an environment of artificial scarcity so that people line up to buy this thing, and then they build off that media hype like, look, everybody's buying a Nintendo.
Well, there's a huge difference, though. When they did that the last time, when they did that with the Wii, the scarcity came after you saw what the Wii was about, right? You saw those motion controls. People got excited over that gimmick, right? So they had already set up everyone to be excited, and then they created the scarcity. This is the other way around. This is now them saying, like, oh, look at this. We have this number of units. Get it while it's hot. Wait, get what while it's hot? What am I getting? Like, I don't even know what you're selling.
The secret sauce to Nintendo is they're actually going to sell you an N and an X. Just a giant N and an X. That's it.
What's hilarious
Limited.
is, like, they have not been able to do anything right in the last year and a half. They have missed so many release dates, right, with games. They couldn't even get their mobile, whatever, that Mii Maker thing on mobile out on time for the holidays. Star Fox was delayed. Zelda is in the ether. We have no details on that either. And then we're going to assume, like, this is a big assumption that you're gonna push out this console, and then to ship like 10 to 12 million units. This just seems like outrageous to me. This is like getting. It really stinks of like the death of Dreamcast. It just reeks
It's
of
a
that
last
over promising.
It seems like a desperate bid.
Yeah, because like there's literally nothing to get excited for that. You can't even create your own theory of what drops early because we haven't even gotten Zelda for the Wii U yet. And we know that they're not going to be like, okay, Zelda comes out on Wii U, and NX comes out next year, and there's a new Zelda for that. No, that's not coming out. Star Fox.
What's happening is NX is getting that Zelda game. That's what's happening.
It's gonna get a port. It's gonna get a port of it, just like from what GameCube to the Wii. They had all those games that came out, and then they did the port. I'm like I just don't understand the logic behind this particular thing, because I was like, maybe I gave Nintendo the benefit of the doubt on the NX. I'm like, they'll build it up this next year, they'll release it early 2017, and we'll have a decent console, and it'll probably be backwards compatible, and the transition into that won't be so bad. But for them to ship this amount next year when we don't give a shit about it right now, I'm like,
yeah.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, and I would say it's history repeating itself for the Dreamcast, but at least the Dreamcast was out, and you knew what it was about. They had the games, people had the system.
Yeah, it had stuff to play that you were excited about already.
And they couldn't even manage to meet any sort of expectations that they set. So now you have like a vaporware console that they have this huge expectations when their current market share is shit.
What if they don't have huge expectations though?
These are huge expectations. They haven't sold this many consoles in 4 years.
No. I mean, like, if you kind of look at it like an analyst, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here, so just bear with me here for a second. Nintendo is in a very kind of precarious spot. They have lost their ability to basically sell a profitable console. They can't actually even compete in the console wars. They're the third party, and that's partially to their own doing. But the Blue Ocean strategy isn't working. Computers are getting smaller and able to do more, so there's only a certain amount of time that they're actually going to be able to hold on to their handheld share. Like, I know that their handhelds are doing well, but if there's anybody smart at Nintendo, they're looking at the market space and saying, we're not going to be able to keep this lead up forever, especially as you have people growing up, kids growing up, who never had a Game Boy. And those are the people who aren't necessarily investing in a Game Boy, who may just play games on their smartphones. There's an entire generation of kids growing up with MOBA games, and that cuts into Nintendo's market share. So Nintendo is looking at a pretty bleak future if they don't do something, and something somewhat drastic. So what I see them doing personally is like, okay, we're just going to kind of give up on this current generation. Not enough to piss people off, but just enough that we can focus all of our energy and all of our efforts into one big push and try and do what we used to do and get back in this console race. And the way that they're doing that would be to set enough systems to sell, but then try to make it seem like they're not going to be enough, and kind of try and create this viral effect. I don't think they're doing it because they think it's a good idea. I think they're doing it because they don't have a lot of other options.
Right. Well, they don't, but they're not the company they were, and to assume that they're going to go back to the way they were, and because of this bid, and that they can do that over again is like a foregone conclusion.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think they think that they're going to be able to do it, and I think they've sold that dream to the people who are investing money in them, because they're looking back and being like, oh yeah, we have a legacy, we've been super successful, we're throwing numbers at you, and let's be honest, all of us know, or probably most of us know, somebody that invests in stocks. Like, have you never been approached by a friend or a family member to be like, hey, so what's the deal going? Sorry.
I think you're breaking up, man. Did we lose Brett?
I think we may have lost Brett.
Brett's anger has
Oh,
stopped
man.
the internet.
He was making a good fucking. Yeah, he was making a good fucking point too. Nintendo interfered or something.
The N-Force, we call it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know where he's going with the shareholder thing and wooing investors and trying to make impressive numbers and key in on them. But the thing is, like, they're on their last bit of good faith with anyone, right? And I think besides their loyalists, besides the zealots who were yelling at Tony and me on Twitter just before, about the oil thing, besides them, they have no good graces left. Like they have.
Triforce will save it, man. Triforce.
He really won't. And I mean, after this last E3, they have lost a lot of fans. They've lost a lot of customers, and the shareholders is all they have left. I mean, making this huge, big push. And it's almost guaranteed to fail with no third-party support, the lost faith in the Wii U, and then to do that, to pull away from the Wii and basically the 3DS, because I don't think there's anything really happening for both. Oh, what is that?
No, I was going to say, like, there's dust on this card box, and that's what's going to be on all of those shipped consoles. That you see.
They're gonna ship them out to like Targets and WalMarts and Best Buys and GameStop. They're just gonna be sitting in the back, just like the Wii U. They're just gonna sit there. Like, this is, I mean,
hey, Charles, I guess you're gonna be looking at them yourself, won't you? Those big ass boxes.
Bro, I don't work in retail no more, buddy.
Oh, good for you. I thought you still got that retail.
Dude, I quit Best Buy the day before Black Friday of last year, and they were not happy about that at all. I got employed at another place, and it was perfect time. And they said, we can get you started in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks brought it up to Wednesday.
Wednesday, damn.
I was so excited. But I agree with what Chris is saying, and just to throw this out there, I don't know, every little in and out of the, the console world and the business side of things, but I feel like it would have made more sense. We already feel like you're jumping the gun by releasing it in 2016 in the first place. If you're going to announce the amount of consoles that you're going to put out, I would have said something like, hey, we're going to ship like 2 million of these things. This is going to be like kind of an early adopter kind of thing, a special edition or something. That probably would have sold the shit. Like, those would have sold quick as hell, regardless of the issues that we have with them now, because it plays off the same thing that kind of the Wii had. It was the illusion of being, limited or whatever. It was something that Brian said. He put in the more official term. I can't remember.
Right, it was this artificial scarcity.
Yeah, the artificial scarcity. Yeah, like if you create that. And I think that it would have done better. But to say that you're going to just 13 million, just, hey, if you want these, they'll be in the store for sure.
To clarify, though, Nintendo, by the way, to clarify, Nintendo themselves haven't officially said this. It's just,
it was leaked information.
Yeah, it was leaked information.
That's true. That is
just to confirm that, and then Foxconn kind of confirmed it themselves, but Nintendo themselves haven't done it yet.
Yeah, well, they're not going to say anything because they're saving all that information for later. But it's still, I mean, they would never tell us how many consoles they're going to ship, but it's already leaked. It's already in the wild, so that obviously was in their plan.
They could come out and be like, the actual thing is we're going to try to manufacture that amount or something, but we're not shipping that amount. I don't know. It's hard. It's going to be difficult to clean.
I don't know. I don't think that would be numbers they would share with people. They never shared those numbers before.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. All right. Go ahead, Chris, finish it off because I want to move on to the last thing.
Yeah, and just like when Tony was talking about the Black Friday numbers, 19%, like their market share is just dropping lower and lower, right? And you lose the faith of everyone. And that's what shareholders look at. That was, I mean, somebody told me that once you get your market share below 20%, you basically become irrelevant. You know who told me that?
Who?
Reggie told me that.
Really?
My first day at work. He gave us a whole speech, all the new people. It's like that was their plan with the DS versus the PSP. And then basically have hit that point.
Wow. It's insane. Again, I'm going to reiterate what I always said. At this point, the way things are going with Nintendo, they're going to have to become a third-party developer. They don't, unless if they want to continue to actually, live, they have no choice. All right, let's move on to the last thing. Pop culture-y stuff.
Yo, man, what you talking about? Pop culture.
Batman vs. Superman, the second trailer dropped, and it's always interesting to me when these trailers drop because whenever Marvel, releases a trailer, you practically have people on the streets celebrating, right? DC comes out with a trailer, you have that fucking Olympic girl, with that face, You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm not a hater. Superman is my favorite fucking character. I want to like this movie, and the last trailer they showed, I got me excited. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Okay, Lex Luthor is kind of stupid, but whatever, you know. This one, I thought I was watching a parody video. I didn't think this was.
I'm sorry, but I agree. Tony, you there?
Everybody's dropping out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I legit. I thought I was watching a spoof of the actual trailer. I'm like, are these people serious with this tone? Let's just jump right into it. Lex Luthor, or Alexander Luthor, because he's not playing the real Lex Luthor. He's playing his son. Holy
now
shit.
He is.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, I agree with Manny. Like, I noticed, like, all of a sudden now he's Lex Luthor's son.
Yeah.
That was October that they said that, though.
It was already official. So the thing is, the acting was so corny. Like we were talking about earlier, it's like he's like freaking like the Joker. Like, oh, hello, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne meet together. Oh my. Oh,
Okay, let me ask this. Does this effectively retcon Superman or Lex Luthor's pretty much lifelong crusade against Superman?
No. All right. Here's the thing. I'm gonna throw this at you, Tony, and you might like this. And my dad is the one that told me this, and I'm like, this actually could be plausible.
By the way, shout out to your dad, because he got you into comics and all that. You know.
Oh yeah. My dad is like, me and him talk about comic stuff every day.
Yeah.
Just about. But I talked to him about it, and I pointed out he had the same gripe as you, and I told him he's not playing Lex Luthor, he's playing his son. Oh, he's like, oh, well, basically what they could have is his son is going to be killed in this movie, which kind of leads to Lex Luthor having that grudge against superheroes.
Well,
There's just a slight problem. Dude, Lex Luthor's already dead at the beginning of the movie.
He's actually dead?
The real, the actual Lex Luthor, he's gone. And Alexander, he inherited all that. He's already dead.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So my thing is
he like dead, or
yes, he's
like,
passed away.
Is he like for reals dead, or just comic books?
Maybe
dead?
he's doing.
Maybe Alexander Luthor is a clone, like in what happened in the comic books and the death of Superman.
Yeah, but either way, the official synopsis was Lex Luthor. The traditional one, he's dead. Alexander Luthor took over, and he changed the whole company and stuff because it was like failing or something. Anyway, my problem is it isn't the fact that it's Alexander Luthor or that it's a totally different type of Luthor. That's not the problem. It's Jesse Eisenberg. He's the problem. He's a horrible actor, and it's just so cheesy.
Here's the thing.
It is the problem.
Jesse Eisenberg isn't a bad actor. It's just he's acting like he's in a superhero film.
Okay, you know what? I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say he's a good actor. Even though I saw that Facebook movie, he was fucking terrible in that.
I thought he was good
incredible in that movie.
I thought he was good in Zombieland.
That whole movie itself, horrible acting in general. Anyway, let's give him the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe he's just reading really slow lines. Manny, you're right. He feels like an '80s comic book movie villain. Like, he is so over the top and cheesy. The Man of Steel, and the Bat going 1-to-1.
Yeah, but you don't think somebody gave him that direction? Like,
but the thing is, his dialogue isn't like that all the time, because we hear him do that, and then when he talks to whatever her name is, the dialogue with her, yeah, like the conversation with her, he was like kind of demented in a way, but it wasn't as bubbly as it was between Batman and Superman. We've had dialogue in the other trailer from him as well, and it's not that way.
But the dialogue from the other trailer was just as bad too. Oh, the red keeps a coming. The red keeps a coming.
Tony, you know what the problem here at the heart of it? I'm just gonna fucking cut right to this. The problem with all of this right here isn't the way people are reading their lines. It's the fucking bare essentials of it. It's what the precursor that comes before all of it. It's the fact that they are coming and taking the source material without any actual respect, and that means that they can just fucking arbitrarily change things around. Like, oh, let's make Lex Luthor young because millennials. Like, they just fucking pander to whatever audience is going to buy fucking tickets and change the story around without any care to the actual narrative of the story, or respecting the people that told it, or the people who brought this into fruition, the people who supported it with their money, the people who read the fucking comic books. Like, it spits in the face of the very people who rose this thing up to prominence, and it bothers me fundamentally. Like, even the whole like okay, it's Lex Luthor's son, and Lex Luthor's dead. Like, who the fuck is Lex Luthor then? Like, his entire identity is he runs LexCorp successfully, and he fights fucking Superman as an evil genius. You're just gonna take all of that out, and then so what? Lex Luthor means absolutely nothing. So okay, so he's Lex Luthor's son. Now that means absolutely nothing. You're just randomly fucking changing things to come up with this end result so that you can put your fingerprint on this fucking movie because you want to reinvent Superman so you can be the asshole who reinvented Superman. Newsflash, he's fucking popular for a reason, and he has a devoted fan base that love him for a reason. Don't go fucking with it. We haven't had a really good representation of Lex Luthor. Why not fucking do that? Why not be the guy who just did it really well?
Man. I was just gonna say, like, damn, right?
Oh, Brett, as always, so beautifully told, man. Yeah, they missed such opportunity, man. Like, okay, remember when the rumor was that Bryan Cranston was gonna be Lex Luthor? Do that! That would have been fantastic. We've never had an actual real Lex Luthor. I mean, I'm sorry, Gene Hackman, and I'm sorry, the other guy that played him. No.
It's criminal mind of all time.
I will admit, like, Superman Returns wasn't
Kevin
a
Spacey.
good movie, but Kevin Spacey's a great actor. But that was a bad movie.
Here's the thing. Like,
Kevin Spacey can play Lex Luthor.
Yes, he can.
Like,
Yeah, he can, absolutely. And that movie was just bad. It wasn't his fault.
Kevin Spacey could totally, and Gene Hackman could also pull off a really good Lex Luthor. It's just the way they were written. And man, let's talk about some of the other shit in the trailer, man.
Wait. The greatest criminal mind of all time.
Okay, so let's just skip to Doomsday because we talked about this before. We're like, Doomsday's
You mean Joe Fix-It?
Yeah, it's like Grey Hulk with he's got
fun.
some schmutz on him. And he fell off the building.
If you didn't, even the trailer, like, no, he's not Zod. Like, look at Doomsday's face. Manny, you talked about it. The guy who plays Zod looks like an alien, and Doomsday has that face.
Number one. I see. I said this on Twitter. I'm like, I hate to criticize my bread and butter, but because I'm an employee of DC Comics. But do we have to reveal every fucking thing in the trailer? Come on, guys.
Yes, I feel like it was way too much in this particular trailer.
Why
you know what? They had me at the conversation that took the conversation that they were having a little bit in the beginning. Between Bruce and Clark.
They had me with the 50-second teaser they released a few days ago with the desert scene.
Superman and Batman.
That was perfect.
That was cool. I like that.
And in my opinion, like, you wanted to have a big scene with Wonder Woman. Perfectly fine. You didn't have to connect the dot to Zod and Doomsday. You didn't have to have Doomsday in the trailer at all. You could have had because they had the angle where Wonder Woman is looking at whatever it was. So you could have had that big explosion and not shown that it was Doomsday that did it. Like, we didn't need to see that at all.
And you know what's even worse? The way they told it to you was like, they show you Zod, then they're like, what have you done? And they show you Doomsday. It's like, okay, they already showed you exactly what happens here.
That plot point is
that was the story trailer, essentially.
Yeah, but this is like a mini spoiler. It's like we just got all those pieces, and then it's like, oh, everybody teams up at the end. But we knew that was going to happen, but you see it now. And then they had the little joke about, oh, you called for help, and it's like, oh, I thought she was with you. I'm like,
I actually appreciated that because there was actually something funny in one of these movies. I actually liked that part. Like,
well, that could have come later. I think they
didn't need to be in a trailer.
Was perfect, and I think the conversation, they could have cut it off with Bruce Wayne talking to Clark Kent and them going back and forth, and that could have been another teaser.
So,
Chris, you know why
other question.
I don't like what?
Wait, you don't like what?
Sorry. Everyone talked at once. I said the reason that they do that, Chris, is because this isn't a movie for you. It's not a movie for people who fucking know who Doomsday is. This is a movie for your average plebeian to sit back and be like, oh, that guy's fucking scary looking. Is he the bad guy? Like, that's my point exactly. Like, anybody who knows anything, like, sees the trailer and they're like, oh, okay, well, gee, thanks for letting me know everything that fucking happened. But the trailer's not to get us to see the movie because they already know they got our $12.
So,
point.
So one question: why does Batman sound like he's talking into a fan?
Simple reason, because Nolan Batman.
You don't watch Arrow, do you?
Yeah, they wanted to go away from the Nolan growl, I guess.
He doesn't.
Digital thing.
Whatever. You remember a little film, I don't know, called Batman, And the difference between Michael Keaton, you know, as Bruce Wayne and Batman, all he did was just lower his voice a little bit. What do you want? And then it's like the other version of him. Why can't it just be that? Just a little bit of a voice.
Yeah, also Batman barely talked in those movies. Like he used his words very sparingly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, maybe
hey guys, I'm Batman.
Also, the Batman shows. I mean, like they seem to just have nailed it, in my opinion.
You said those. You said it one more time.
Batman animated series. He said.
Can we get Kevin Conroy to dub over Ben Affleck whenever he's Batman?
As I said, like 6 months after this film comes out, there'll be like a Kevin Conroy like dub, where like some guy has like trolled through every single thing that he's ever done, and then just like put it in. Like I guarantee you, like Sony will do that.
You mean kind of like how they did with the Emperor and the Joker? There's this video. They literally put all the Joker lines from the Arkham games over the last scene in Return of the Jedi.
Oh wow,
that is awesome.
Yeah, I want to talk about the desert scene. Here's something I forgot what I was watching. I was watching a video and they were it was a video analysis of the teaser, right, that we got. And they said I'm kind of going with this, and I'll explain why. That's a dream sequence that Batman is imagining what's happening, and here's how it goes. That figure, they're selling a figure of that specific Batman, right? And it's called Nightmare Batman, right? That's the first one. Second thing is those Superman like Nazi guys. Like, why would Superman have a bunch of troops under him? That doesn't make sense. And then the thing that sold it to me in this trailer, the fucking Parademon showing up. I'm like, okay, I don't think they're gonna throw the whole apocalypse thing into the first movie. Maybe that's a glimpse. Maybe it's not a dream. Maybe it's just a glimpse of what could happen if things go wrong, if Darkseid comes or something like that. But there were Parademons in there, you know. So yeah, maybe this doesn't exactly happen for real. You know, so what do you think about that?
I was thinking that, I mean, now that I know that figure is called Nightmare, that lines up more with the demonic things. But my theory, before this trailer even came out, was that we're going to have, I thought the movie was going to open in a future or a different universe where Superman is a tyrant.
Okay.
And that Batman was going to somehow get that information back to the Batman that we're going to be watching. Like in, you know, the one that we've seen in the trailer thus far. And he can basically make it where he has that conflict. But the fact that they team up at the end of this movie, which is very obvious, I don't think that lines up with him finding out that Superman is a tyrant in the future. So the nightmare sequence kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a long-ass scene, though, honestly. Because, like, we've had that part that we saw before where he's getting beat up by the guys in black. And then, you know, and apparently he's going to get captured and then have his mask ripped off and all this stuff. I'm like, you know, that's going to be really long. I mean, are they going to have Scarecrow in the fucking movie, too?
Batman has very detailed nightmares.
Yeah, like, he just sprays him right in the face with, like, a whole load of his little...
Oh, why not, right? You're already going to have Aquaman and Cyborg. Is that true that Cyborg's going to be in this movie? Like,
that was rumored before that he was casted to make an appearance. Just an appearance.
Okay.
Not to play, like, a big role. And then somebody said there's a rumor that Bizarro is going to be in the movie, but I'm sure that they're just saying that because of the bad Superman that we saw. In the, you know,
the Doomsday, right? Or I don't know, man. What do we think about Doomsday? I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. You know,
my problem is this: it's plain that Doomsday is not going to be as substantial as he was in the comic books. They're going to use him. He's going to be this final fight with the you know, the Justice League getting together for the first time. He's going to get his ass kicked by them at some point, and that's going to be the end of Doomsday. It's not going to be anywhere near as incredible as him beating Superman or whatever and the other stuff. So I'm disappointed that we're not going to get that Doomsday versus Superman conflict unless they do some bullshit where in the next solo Superman movie or 2 movies down the line he gets like modified or some shit and can compete. But I don't know.
I'm surprised nobody handed the CG modelers like any issue of Death of Superman or anything where they could look at the character to model him. And instead they made him look like the Hulk had
Or
fallen
Abomination.
into a
Yeah,
mud,
Abomination.
and
They made him look like
yeah.
Abomination from the
Yeah,
Edward Norton movie.
Here's the thing. I mean, it's not like that original Doomsday design is anything to
Was
call
good.
home about.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was-
he started out because they didn't even have a design for him as a dude in a fucking green leotard with goggles on.
Yeah, but work from that. Like this is just like the Abomination with some dirt on him.
He is essentially. He says. I mean, Doomsday in general was not the best looking character ever. He was essentially the Hulk, with icicles on his back.
Yeah,
know?
so put the icicles on. I don't care. That
He had icicles on his back, and that
no,
was
he
the only-
didn't. He looked like
It was-
a part of
it
the
was- it
building
was-
felt
yeah.
that he knocked over was still sticking to him. That's what it looked like.
I don't know how to feel about that, but I just find it funny that he looks exactly like Zod, and Zod had that weird looking face. It's like, that's perfect. He looks like a fucking alien already,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but here's the part Brian had a problem with. Batman had a gun.
Yeah,
Something-
I had a problem with
Yep.
that too. Like,
It's
he's
not the
standing there
first
with a gun.
time either, because go back to the first trailer when they shown him on top of that tower. He had what looked to be a sniper rifle or some sort of precision rifle with a high zoom scope, which is quite odd.
But the
Considering
Dark
that
Knight
doesn't
in the
exist.
Dark Knight
Thank
Returns,
you.
he had a gun.
Exactly, in the dark. And remember, this is based off that version of character.
Wait,
And
did he only have the gun to make a point to everyone that guns were clumsy and slow
No.
when he was riding the horse?
No, he used it to shoot to
Oh,
shoot
gas
at,
grenades when he invaded the police station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Batman. Yeah, because here's the thing: people like Batman's like, oh no, I'm not gonna touch guns. Batman uses guns. He just doesn't use guns to kill. That's the difference. So him having a gun, I don't have a problem with that. Then again, I had other issues with the trailer that were bigger than
Chris Nolan Batman had a gun of sorts too. Remember the one that that had plastic explosives in it?
Yeah, Batman uses firearms. He just doesn't kill with them, even as unrealistic as that may be sometimes. But oh man, I don't know, man.
We can go to my problems with the film.
And
And
go for it.
the whole
With the trailer, we don't know about the film yet.
Well, these problems will pretty much just go into the whole film. The main problem that I have is
All right, Charles, man, you heading out, man. Thanks for being on, dude, as always, man.
It's all good, man. It was definitely a pleasure. I gotta get to bed.
All right, man.
All right,
Later,
man.
man.
Later, Charles. Yeah, I just have the problem of that. Angst is not something that you can hold your crutch up, or can be used as a crutch for a film in general. Because the main problem is that every single character that we've seen so far, their main characteristic is that they're angsty. Seriously,
Man.
Batman, Superman, Lois Lane has most of that for the brief 3 seconds we've seen her. The only character that I don't know is Lois Lane, and definitely Lex Luthor, or whatever you want to call him, the Luthor Kid, is not angsty, and that's why I like him. He is the only character in there that has character. The rest are all just as dull as dishwater. It's okay, you're sad, you're upset, you're angry, but work with that. Make that meaningful instead of just being a complete pisshead who's just going to be just whining the whole time. I can't get invested if every character is the same character. I don't know about you guys, but I just can't do that. And that's why I, unlike Tony, really enjoyed when Jesse Eisenberg was on screen. He added to those scenes. He made those scenes exciting. I actually laughed at the joke. It's hey, don't pick a fight with this guy. It's haha, very funny because Batman, Superman, of course, different identities. I laughed at that.
But
Compared to the joke at the end, where it's
that was just
oh,
so
is she with you?
disappointing.
Oh, I thought she was with you. It's don't care.
See, that was the only joke that worked. Anything that came out of that guy's mouth didn't work to me. It
The
was
red
just
coats are
stupid.
coming. Superman,
Yeah.
red coat, red cape.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
stupid. In that universe, who else has a red cape? The red capes are coming. It was plural.
Again, that's the whole
Stupid.
funny thing. It's the red
That
capes are
wasn't
coming.
funny at all. That was dumb. It was stupid.
It was a
It
clever
was
play
dumb.
of words, Tony.
No, it wasn't a play on words. It was a dumb line delivered by a dumb actor who was playing a dumb character.
It was a clever play on
Stupid.
words,
It
Tony.
wasn't clever at all. What was clever about it? Red capes. There's only one guy with a red cape in the entire universe.
Or maybe there's more. We don't know.
No.
Now since
know.
they do little things like, hey, what do you think of that?
And why are they
vigilante?
using the characters' name, legendary names like, oh, the last son of Krypton? Who says that in their universe? Superman has been around for 2 years at most. Why would you what about this part where he was like, oh, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne's like, how the fuck do you know who Clark Kent is? He's just writing news. You don't know who he is. He's not famous. How do you know that?
he's essentially like the Peter Parker of that, because like everywhere
Who
Superman
knows
goes,
what Peter
like
Parker?
happens
Yeah.
to be there writing a positive story about him. So over time, people was like, okay, like that's Clark Kent. He's the guy that writes the Superman stuff.
Yeah, I
You know,
guess I'll
it's the
give
same
you
thing,
that.
like,
But it was
hey, that's
just
Peter
dumb.
Parker. He's the one
Isn't
that
it
does
Lois
the
Lane that writes the Superman stuff? Clark Kent never really wrote any
Yeah,
Superman
that's,
stuff,
yeah, that's
Or
true.
maybe he does in this
Yeah, Lois.
universe.
Yeah,
which
maybe
is
he does.
really
Maybe, yeah,
stupid.
yeah, like I'm gonna write about myself, basically. It was just so ham-fisted and forced. That's the other thing I want to talk about with this trailer. Again, this goes back to DC. They're forcing all this. It's not like Marvel where they had years to build this up. This movie should have been Man of Steel 2. We should have had at least 2 solo Batman movies before this shit happened. It just seems like they're cramming it in your face, and it's like, come on, man. I want to like this, but you're trying to artificially shove it in my fucking face. You know, that's my main problem with it, man. It sucks because dude, it's a movie that has Batman and Superman in it. That's something we wanted for years, but the way they're delivering it, man, no, I'm very dubious about it. I hope it's good, but I don't know. I want ILM to come in and CG a better actor for Jesse Eisenberg because I'm not buying his leftover at all. You know, it's fucking bad. All right, any other thoughts on this?
I don't know. I just think they gave away too much with this one. I would have been happy with a shorter teaser like the nightmare scene. I
Yeah.
would have liked something like that. I thought that was fine. I really don't know why they did this when they just released that one. It releases it's like 3 minutes long, and it's like summing up the movie.
Basically, just fucking giving it all away, you know?
Yeah, I have to agree. Like they gave up way too much. They should have cut out all the Zod stuff. Just had not him, or
Yeah.
just have him not be there, and definitely cut out Doomsday because that definitely could have waited for something else. And maybe just stopped at like the building shattering and then the roar, and then have the Wonder Woman thing. Wonder Woman has not said any lines yet, has she? In any of the trailers?
Nope.
No.
No, actually, yes, she has. She in the last one, she was talking to Bruce Wayne when they were dancing or something. She said something to him. That was about
She
it.
did?
And she said
Really?
something. Yeah, it's like, oh, you live a dangerous life or some shit like that. He's like, I am dangerous. Some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was about
So it seemed like she'd been relegated like a side character in this one, which sort of makes sense considering that she has like her own film the year after this one. So, hey, I will watch it because it's
We're all
Batman,
gonna watch it.
Superman,
We're all gonna
but
watch it, obviously.
whether or not I like it, I don't know because I was one of the few people that actually enjoyed Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel was great, and I know people hate on it. I thought it was fun, man. I like that movie. I had my problems with it, of course, but it was mostly the Superman movie I wanted to see, so I was happy with it. You know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, this trailer, I don't know, man. And it's weird because like the first trailer they showed, I was just like, I don't know about this. And they showed the second one, I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. Then I see this one, I'm like, oh man, I don't know. It's like up and down, you know.
Ooh. And I have to say this: if they show the Joker in this movie, then they can go fuck themselves. Seriously, like I'm done because I don't want to see the Joker here. Seriously, he has no business being here. But
I
yeah, if
agree.
he's there at all, like they make a reference. Well, they did make a reference to him, but if they just like show him, then I'm done. I'll walk out the movie theater. I'll walk out the movie theater and then I'll watch Age of Ultron on my phone.
You know, hey, Brian, you want to hear something funny? The only movie I've ever walked out of the theater on is Batman and Robin.
Oh wow.
I walked right out. I got up and I was like, I can't take this anymore. It's terrible.
It's like Arnold comes in, all right, everybody, chill, and
No,
you're like,
you know-
I'm done.
You know what? I gave it a chance because like it was money, you know, and until Poison Ivy hit a button on Bane's chest and told him to bust a wall open. And I'm a huge fan of like Nightfall and stuff. I'm like, no, Bane is not like a robot that you push a button and tell him to go hit things. I just like got up. My brain couldn't take any more.
Yeah, that was like maybe 20 minutes in the film. She's like, Bane. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this.
Well, the nature.
I sat through the ice skating fight and all that shit. I couldn't take any more.
Chill.
Chris, if only I could go back in time and tell you this is going to be the second worst movie incarnation of Bane you'll ever see.
Because he was being controlled by a woman in another movie too. Ain't that
Well, no,
something?
like I thought the same thing with Batman and Robin. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with Bane? Like, this is the guy that was strong enough to kick Batman's ass, break his spine, and throw him off a building. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Also smart enough to orchestrate his entire downfall. Like, he orchestrated all of Nightfall. Everything that Batman faced was orchestrated by Bane. He manipulated every villain. in the Batman universe to do that one thing was just to weaken him enough so he could just snap him in half.
Yeah,
That's
and
how smart he was.
It was one of the few villains that wasn't like, oh, I have an ulterior motive. It was like, no, I want to break Batman. Like, that's my end game.
Yeah, but the ones in the movies, we don't get that. I want to breakfast, your stomach or your body.
Oh, you're speaking of your crab face.
Yeah.
I've literally seen better
flip
Bane
side,
costumes at a costume party.
Oh, man.
on the flip side, I did enjoy that character, but that character was not Bane.
No, I agree. I like that character. That's the terrible part. Like, can't you just fucking not call him Bane?
No, I have to be connected to the Batman universe.
Oh, man.
Overacting? What are you talking about?
Oh.
Do you like my John Rhys Davies impression?
All right, let's wrap this shit up. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube's. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, joined by Emilio Lopez.
No place for Hideo.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Shit.
Brian Manjoma.
Shout out to like both PlayStation, Microsoft, or Xbox and Steam for having sales on during these award shows. Very clever marketing, pretty cool thing to do. Shows that they actually do care about video games.
Yes. Chris Seeley.
Fuck Konami. I think that's the takeaway from tonight.
Yes. And, of course, Brett Murdoch.
It's been a pleasure. Hey, Tony, do you mind if I grab the mic for a second? I got something I want to say.
Sure, man.
Okay, so I was informed during the podcast that a gaming buddy of mine, whom I've met on Steam and played with for a while now, his sister was one of the victims of the San Bernardino shooting. Unfortunately, she didn't make it. They are currently trying to raise money for her funeral. I'd be happy to post a link either on my Twitter or in the show notes if Tony agrees with it. But basically, the long and short of it is this: like, we all come to this place called gaming, and the thing that makes us all one big group is our communal love of gaming. And I have met some of my best friends because of this hobby, and it has bettered my life. And I think every once in a while we'd all do well to sit back and remember that and try, if at all possible, to help our brothers who are not doing as well as us this holiday season. So if any of you have just a little extra change jangling around your pocket, I urge you to hunt down this link and give to the cause, because it's just a shitty time of year for this to happen. And at the end of the day, we all got to keep each other's backs.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll have that in the links, and my condolences, obviously. Fucked up. It's a fucked up world, man. Especially at this time of year, but that's a different topic for another day. So once again, thank you for listening and watching. We'll see you guys next time. Another exciting episode of Throwdown. Later.
Deuces.
So,
Peace,
guys.
people.